Hello, everyone.
Hi.
This is Up Late with G. We also have Roger the Pirate and Just in Time. So if you're just in time, you'll see it. We'll give a shout out to Funk and Hungry members just before we get the show going. So we have Dogface, Becky's Fishing Adventures, Joanne Yoda Girl, Just Rant Already, AJ, Savadadu, and we have Stylesy as well. And Stylesy got a little treat for being a member for a year. He just actually sent me a picture of him rocking his treat. Yeah. I would share it to everyone, but it's a little bit personal. What do they call them in the sex industry? Penis rings or whatever.
Yes.
I let him choose something from the Funkin' Hungry merch shop, and he got himself a T-shirt. So yeah, there you go.
Does he get a custom emoji for that?
A custom emoji for the cock ring. Should actually do that, eh? People go wild. The eggplant's bad enough. By bad enough, I mean they sure like to use that a lot. But, there you go. Also, I did get to my goal for World Greatest Shave, even though it's not shaved. I just coloured my hair. And the colour's kind of gone, so I might recolour it. But yeah, shout out to all the beautiful, wonderful, Funkin' Hungry family members that added a little bit of a donation to help us get. We just got over 400, but yeah, it's not over yet. Let's see if we can raise a little bit more. But it's awesome to see people getting involved. We did Movember and we did World Greatest Shave. As I was saying to people, I probably want to do more charities, but maybe I'll do charities where I don't have to look like an idiot to do them. But hey, I normally look like an idiot, so what's the difference? Cheers, everyone. So yeah, let us know as well how you are, who you are, what you are. I'll go through the chat before we kick it right off. We had Styles, yes, 22 hours early. Wow. Can't say Styles, you rocks up late. We have Mark Shed Talk saying I thought I'd be first, but apparently Styles was first. So then we had Dogface, we have Kodie, the Aussie Alistair fan Brony. I caught up with a wild Brony recently. He's galloping in on his luscious speed. We also have T and only charismatic ultra wizard of swag, also known as UWEOL. Just to make it easy for us to remember, just a short name. And we have AJ saying that he's not feeling well. We have Stylesy going crazy, being the director that he is. And that's it. So we'll get back into there. So anyway, now we've done all the, what do they call it, maintenance, housekeeping. How are you? How are you guys? We did have a chat with Mark on Thursday on Mark Shed Talk. Go check it out. It's the greatest shed talk on the planet.
I'm doing well, guys. How about yourself?
Yeah. A little bit here, a little bit there. I reckon it must have been that green shake that I drank. I didn't check my poo to see if it's a different colour though, but maybe that's for another. Shook me from the core. Looks like I would ask Roger how he's doing, but he's in concentration mode.
Yeah, I'm doing well, Steve. And doing well, Mark. I did a surprise last minute earlier.
Yeah, I caught a little bit of it. I didn't join in the chat, but I'm like, what the hell? I don't know. My sleep's been a little bit over the place lately, so I sleep when I can. And I didn't know if I was dreaming it. I didn't know if it was real. I didn't know what was happening. Like Roger the Pirate streaming in the morning. Going on.
when I saw
Well,
it on
it's
my
not a-
phone, I thought, hang on, what's going on here? And then, oh, okay, righto, because we're playing a little bit of catch up after ex-tropical cyclone
Alfred.
Alfred. Yeah,
Oh,
so got to, and we hadn't cleaned the house for a while, so the wife cleaned the house while I was down mowing the grass. The grass was quite long. And a
yeah.
bit of other tidy up work around the place as well. So it was a bit of a full on day. I wasn't at it all day, but most of the day. Got a bit of watched a bit of the Formula One, but yeah, didn't sort of get into the shed here till late this afternoon to do. Had to look at the vacuum cleaner. It's the power head on it's the belt on it's starting to go, so I've got to get a new belt. And that's about that was about today. So tomorrow we got a little bit more yard work to sort out. And, yeah, that's sort of where we're at
And
the moment.
did old mate Alfred do much like damage or do anything to around the house? Like I know the
No,
shed didn't really only got a little
no.
bit wet, right?
Yeah, we got a little bit of water in, and that's happened before when we've had really amounts of heavy rain. We were very lucky.
Yeah.
We were on the edge of it. The Gold Coast really sort of copped it. You may have seen photos and videos I put up on Facebook of our days at work over at Bribey Island,
Yeah.
doing some rectification work, and a couple other places. That's still a little bit ongoing, and yeah, that's about all we caught. So
And I
Yeah,
guess it'll
doing
take a
well.
while for that area to recover. It's funny, even just watching some people do food reviews. It's interesting that they're still doing reviews. Also, the Maccas, Jackers, Clackers, and stuff. Obviously, they being big businesses, they want to pump it out as much as they can. But some of them were saying that you can't come in the store because I guess they probably had minor damages or whatever, and go through the drive-through.
yeah, well, the
What's been stored
sorry, Roger.
a while before you recover that, wouldn't it, Mark? Where you living?
Yeah, a lot of the places like Woolworths, for instance, when I went shopping the other day, well, okay, so my wife and I, we didn't panic buy. We prepared.
You
We had
didn't buy
plenty of
food
food in the
paper.
cupboard. Yeah, no, we didn't do that. No. But when I did go shopping, we left it for as long as possible, so to speak. When we did go
Yeah,
shopping, there was like fruit and veggies. There was no fruit and veggies. The deli was a
yeah,
little bit limited, but other than that, pretty well everything was up to date. The other thing is one of the guys at work brought in some bananas and eggs from his
oh, wow.
property.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, we just yeah, and look,
Stocked up from some generous people.
yeah, we didn't stock up much, and
Yeah,
we live a pretty simple life. We don't smoke, we don't drink. We have the occasional drink, but I know some people like their drink or they need to have their drink, whatever. We don't, and we're pretty happy with that. And I think things are starting, obviously, in this modern day society when things like this happen. There's always plenty of help.
yeah,
One thing about Queensland, when the authorities ask us to do something, most people do the right thing. They said to us, if you don't have to be on the road, stay home. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
They almost went overboard,
mm,
and some people got sick of it because, especially with the media, how they dragged it out and rolling coverage of
yeah,
Cyclone Alfred and all that sort of stuff.
yeah.
It gets a bit monotonous, and but as a society, we recover pretty well. It's just most people, because they're so used to having everything at their convenience, when suddenly
mm.
something doesn't happen or they can't get it at their fingertips, they all cry and shout and whinge and carry on.
It's like
Yeah.
we've had egg shortages, but it's mainly just Woolworths and Coles, and I guess they go through certain suppliers or whatever, or being such a big company, they normally limit it like one per person or whatever. Being such a well-used supermarket. And then again, the fear of God goes into everyone. Oh God, we can't get them, but you can. Like, I never really struggled. I went to some shops and you see that the shelves are just stripped, but then you go to you go to the next supermarket that's maybe not a big franchise or well known or whatever, and it's got them there. So it's like people, I feel like you were saying, Mark, like people freak out when they start seeing stuff or hearing stuff, and it's like just relax, maybe go to a place that you're not used to going to before you start freaking out and saying there's no eggs anywhere or whatever the situation. I mean, it happened with COVID with bog roll, the poo
The other
paper.
thing that people were saying, especially on social media, that they were going to turn the power off and we wouldn't have any water and all these crazy and the when the Premier of Queensland here, Christopher Lee, was up on, doing his thing and talking and saying, this is what we're doing, we're preparing, da-da-da-da-da. And he said, no, we are not going to turn the power off. We are not going to turn the water off. Just crazy shit that people come up with. It's just unbelievable.
Sometimes it's just one of those, someone said it and a few people caught wind of it and it might not even be true.
No.
I mean, that's like us as a society or as a civilization or breed or species, whatever you want to. It's happened long before we were around, and I'm sure it still happens that people the story changes over time, and it gets to the point where people are just losing their mind over it.
Mm. And my wife and I have both been through the 1974 floods here in Brisbane. I was only 3-year-old at the time. And also we've been through the 2011 floods that we had here. It's just, it's going to happen. And the best thing you can do is be prepared and, not panic and hope the authorities do the right thing. And I believe they did.
Yeah. That's when it comes to authorities or whatever. A lot of times they're doing, we talk about a lot of corruption and whatever, but when shit hits the fan, most of the time people chip in, help. Emergency services, that's when they really shine and deserve our respect, and cooperation and stuff. Like, why not cooperate and help and whatever? Some people definitely make it difficult or just want to be a nuisance. Because I saw videos of sharks and crocodiles and stuff in weird locations because I guess flooding. And if it's not wildlife, it's people in utes or people in trying to get across floodwaters and stuff. Just our cars are becoming boats all of a sudden, and
you're always going to get situations where people do the wrong thing or they think it's safe to cross a flooded road. That's why the old slogan, if it's flooded, forget it, But however, sadly, as much as the warnings go out, and most of us have got a mobile phone. They're advertising it on TV and radio and so on, to the point that it does almost get a bit too much. However, they need to do that, and yet, as much as they do, some people just don't listen.
So the best outcome of this situation was going to have to hear about bloody Ukraine and Trump for a few days. Something different in the Matrix. Yeah, shout out to Becky. Welcome, Becky. Also, I liked, this was obviously referring to earlier, Chinese whispers on steroids. Just Chinese whispers. By the time you get to the end, it's not even the same story anymore. But yeah, on steroids. Can't hear anything at the pub. Free beer. Well, paid 50 for drink as much as I want. Well, I'm sure Becky would just have a quiet couple.
That could be.
One too many. Yeah, that's one too many.
Welcome, Sakao, as well. Hi, Duncan Hungry, Roger the Pirate, Mark, and everyone in the chat tonight. Welcome there.
going fishing after the pub.
Ooh,
Who Becky is?
drunk.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh man, bloody hell! That bloke gets himself in all sorts of mischief. He was showing me a video the other day. I can't remember what day it was. Maybe Becky or Stylesy can refresh my mind, but it must have been about a week ago. Mount Gambier had a electrical storm, so it was like Mount Gambier is obviously fairly away from me, so I didn't get none of it. But Becky and Stylesy was going off. I was laughing, saying, "What? Haven't you ever seen a thunderstorm before? You know, you've never seen a bit of." But yeah, it was pretty full on. And Becky was doing a video, and like lightning came down and hit something near him. He's like, "Oh shit! I just almost had a near-death experience." It's like, well, yeah, maybe go inside. No, don't risk it for the biscuit. Don't risk it just for a picture, because there's always going to be someone with a better camera, better setup than you that's going to get some lovely shots. And later on, they did. Becky did share a few. The sky just looked very purple, and when the lightning's coming down and just cracking and bringing the light and stuff, it was pretty crazy. And of course, Adelaide's just being hot, so when they had the electrical storm, we just had a bunch of humidity and bullshit come our way.
Yeah, I remember.
Whereas Kodie is on holiday still. Actually, saw a wild brony. Um, I think only Kodie, the Aussie brony, would rock up the bowling with a pair of thongs on, pair of flip flops.
Also, it'd be one of those places turns up on with a pair of thongs and whatnot.
Oh, it's just funny. Yeah, Kodie's one of those people who are just very Australian in his aesthetic. Yeah, but shout out to Kodie. I think it's the 20th something he'll be back. So not this Monday, next Monday. We'll have a bit of a look. So yeah, this Monday 17th. So I guess I believe he still has another week.
Yeah, so
Well,
23rd
some of the week in South Australia, and then he'll probably be back on the 24th on Monday. And there's a little tiny, cute little spider crawling around. How adorable! It's all right when they're like the size of, like, well, that's even less than a 5 cent piece. Five.
So how was the meetup with the brony?
Yeah, it was really hot and humid that day, so the weather and stuff was complete shit. We was inside for most of it, but they had all these fans on, but the fans weren't doing that much. But yeah, we made the most of the situation. He smashed me in bowling. The second game, I started going ahead of him for a bit, and then he just demolished me. It's funny. I said to Kodie, I'm like, "Oh yeah, he said, "You bowl often?" I said, "Oh, I went once last year." So yeah, I don't really bowl often. And then he tells me, "Yeah, I don't really bowl often either, just once a fortnight." Oh yeah, not often, no.
What's the ball?
And then we did mini golf, and I'm pretty sure I was dripping like a candle in there because they had no aircon. But yeah, it was funny. Mini golf was haven't done that in bloody ages, but that was funny. There was a part. I'm sure when Kodie's here, we might mention it. But there was a part that had like a loop. So the only way to get your ball to the hole is go over this like metal loop. It looked a little bit rusty. Looked like it's been there for a while. Somehow I hit the ball so hard that it looked like it just disappeared and reappeared because it didn't go over the loop, but it got to the other side of where it's meant to be. So there was no room in between the loop and the actual course. But I guess maybe it came off the ground, travelled, and then landed on the area. But me and him just freaked out at that. We're like, "What the hell just happened there?" It's like some sci-fi movie. The ball just appeared and reappeared.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a good. There was a good catch up. I'm sure I'll see Kodie next time he's down as well, or unless we somehow make a different adventure together. But yeah. So this year so far, I've seen Stylesy and Kodie.
You're doing well.
Yeah, not doing pretty good. I was going to say I could go down to Queensland and see you and AJ and stuff, but yeah, maybe Alfred will come back for a second.
You go up to
Ghostbusters.
Queensland.
Yeah, you never know.
Mm. Never know when Alfred will return.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you see Styles and Kodie at the same time then. Next time.
And you know how Mr. Kodie likes his plushes and he has his little tomfoolery dogs, as he calls them, and does the little voices and the rest of it. A certain Funkin' Hungry may have gave him a fresh new little addition to his collection. So I'm sure when Kodie's back, he'll probably talk about what I gave him. If people are on Discord, there is a picture of us together, and you might notice a little friend with Kodie. So yeah, if you're on Discord, but if you have the eagle eyes going on, you might be able to see what I'm talking about. All right, but yeah, that's where Kodie is. I'm only 22 minutes in. I thought it was TikTok time already. Nothing like a bit of Yorkshire tea, though.
Yeah, well, I just slammed down Coke
Let
with ice, so
me
maybe later on I might go get a cup of tea or something like that. Maybe some ice cream.
I'm a bit weird, unless it's boiling hot. I still have an odd tea.
Mm.
But yeah, there is nothing like a Pepsi Max or something with a lot of ice in it, and as soon as it just touches the lips and gets in the body, you're like, oh, that's refreshing.
Anyway, that's the That's 4 hours away.
Spider here. Is this the same one? Yeah, we haven't had that many big spiders here around that I've seen. A lot of time when it gets boiling hot and humid and the rest of it, get those big huntsmans and stuff. But yeah, Mr. Wizard, as we like to call him around here. Hey, Frank, did you remember I'd tell you about the story of how I met a new friend that I never met before named Chris on Friday? I was waiting for a train to Katoomba. That day it was taking a long time. But yeah, I do remember Wizard. Wizard was saying that he met a friend that helped him out on one of my comments last night. I believe he posted it. This bloke who showed me to another platform for the train had offered me if I wanted to go with him to get a bus instead. I said sure. His name was Chris. He was from Kingswood. He actually lives with his girlfriend there. Good bloke. Yeah, because Wizard said hopefully I'll see him again. I said I should have swapped the numbers or something, social media contacts or something. But yeah, it's always nice, I guess, when you meet.
4 hours money.
It's always nice when you meet someone that's helpful.
We got a viewer from LA.
LA, also known as La La Land.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome. It's like a robot with just letters.
And 2025 and 2025 DX.
What's happening in
The
LA?
crash and field upload later about 11 o'clock. Yeah, the trolls. Oh. Sorry.
Yeah, what's happening in LA? N2025 DX. Oh yeah. There you go.
Walked to the bus stop together and got along very well. Excellent.
Everyone went quiet there, and I was going through different tabs here. I'm like, what the hell? Did the show get shut down? Becky saying, if I catch some fish, I'll upload them later. Going prob's about 11, so it's 8:25 now for us. So yeah,
It's
we'll
about
probably hear from a drunken. We'll probably hear from a drunken Becky in a couple of hours, with or without a fish. With a fish, possibly a fish. There you go. Emu playing Sydney. The bloke who showed me. Nah, not a robot. 3 a.m. but wide. Sorry, wide awake and got you boys on. Nice one.
Yeah.
I was going to say
Cool,
nice
man.
one, brother, but I don't know if you're a lady, so you can't. Nice one, bruv. Nice one, brother.
Well, thanks for having us on.
Yeah, that's it.
Part of
Hopefully,
the
we can entertain you while you're wide awake.
yeah. Part of this this course I'm doing to help things with my YouTube channel, which it's actually showing a bit of promise.
In engagement or subs or comments
Yeah,
or
both,
all of it.
both. Yeah, yeah,
It's
both.
funny that you mentioned that. Not to take away from what you said too much. I'll just say I'm feeling like I've got a shadow ban or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Well,
the engagement is pretty piss poor at the moment.
mm,
Yeah, because I don't message from Rob 12. I didn't see the in the no subscriptions there your last stream, G. Because her message said I didn't see G's last thing come up in the subscription box area on YouTube, where she usually sees her
Yeah,
live streams and stuff.
I mean, maybe it's paranoia that I'm like, oh, maybe when I do these live streams and some of the tinfoil stuff we talk about, the conspiracy might trigger the algorithm a little bit. Hello, how are you?
yeah.
But
Look, my live streams don't get many views. The last one was 34 views. I think
yeah,
I'm not worried, but what one thing they have talked about, and it's sort of a self-paced thing. They have
mm-hmm.
various lessons, and they've tailored it to you're not going to be a Mr. Beast, right? Their channel is about not teaching you how to go viral. It's about the
Yeah,
long game of YouTube. And what they're saying is, if you look at my latest video that I uploaded, the thumbnails, bright
mm,
colours gets people's attention, and they talk about posting strategically, like once a week, and it may
yeah,
take about 3 months, but in that 3 months, if you're posting once a week, the YouTube, what they're saying is the YouTube algorithm will pick it up and go, oh, okay, this guy's posting at the same time every week. And so we're going to start pushing. It's about tailoring your content to to your viewers, and part of it is keyword research. So when you go to upload, for instance, if you upload a video, or before you
yeah,
do it, do a bit of keyword research in terms of search YouTube for what people are actually looking for, and that's sort of what they're promoting. It's done by the guys at Primal Video. I've talked about them before. I've shared some of their stuff. They're on YouTube,
oh, okay,
and
yeah,
and the guy that you mainly see on camera, it's actually him and his brother, and they live up the sunny coast, so they're about half an hour away from me, roughly. And
yeah, well,
but they base everything on, because YouTube is an American thing. They base they, they they set their currency in American dollars, because a lot of their
Yeah,
revenue comes from that. So
when they do that, when they go for exchange and that, when they pay and
yeah,
that,
yeah, but it's it really has made a difference to what I have been doing. You know, just previously, I've just uploaded a video, you know, and the previous, you know, thumbnails have just been maybe a photo of the steam traction engine without any wording. But from now on, I'm going to follow, you know, I have done thumbnails before, but they talk about, you know, sort of not bright colors, but make it stand out from all the others out there, sort of thing. And going back to just when you do their thing, it's real. They just explain it in simple terms because they've gone through all this, right? And they were ready to throw the towel in. They were not, they were going to give up on YouTube until they changed it. And they do talk about, they have talked about this on their YouTube videos. They do give a lot of content out for free, and they do review on various applications to like Snapper. That one I told you, that was one of their recommendations. And look, it's so far. So I'm up to 774 subscribers, and the engagement on my latest video is doing pretty well. And I probably need to go back and redo the thumbnails on my older videos. And that could
even the titles you could change. Sometimes people say changing titles can
not just the actual
titles,
but the thumbnail image. The thumbnail image is the thing that gets people's attention because that's what they're going to see on the screen. You don't want to make it too overcomplicated, but you also want to make it stand out all the others that are in front of them. So that's basic. I mean, there's a lot more in depth, you know. So, but in saying that, the last video I posted, the average viewer duration is 1 minute and 7 seconds. You know, so look, I'm not. That average view duration, I think that's a bit of a misleading thing because you will get some people who watch it all the way through, and you'll always get people who I suppose it's doom scrolling. They'll click on it, they'll watch it for whatever, and then they'll just go on, oh, this is boring, we're going to the next one. Because as I've said before, we're constantly getting notifications on our smart devices from whatever, how many social media platforms we're on.
Yeah,
and that's
unfortunately as well, you might be watching a video and you might get a message or something on Facebook, and obviously it kind of distracts you, and then you might forget to go back to finish the video. There's way too many distractions and notifications these days.
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram, you know, Discord, you name it. You know, just But anyway, look, even though it's costing me a bit of money, I'm going to keep going with it and see what happens. I think I do see the benefit in it.
Yeah, I was going to say that I did used to really like the vidIQ app, but then they made a lot of like the really cool features behind a payment wall, which is fair enough. But they used to do the whole keyword stuff, and they used to kind of let you know if you were going to use a tag, how well it would do with your content and just stuff like that. I had crossed my mind to pay for the subscription. I should even try it for just 4 weeks or whatever. See what happens. But yeah.
Well, but before you do that, G, I just sent the link to Primal Video's YouTube channel. Go and watch some of their videos on there. There's a lot of stuff that they put out in their videos, which I'm sure you can benefit from. And even you, Roger, they really do give some good advice there. And it's not over the top. And I don't think you have to change much from what you're doing now. You know, so just give it a try.
Do you use Tube Buddy, Mark? Tube, BUBE, Buddy?
No,
it's just an app that I've used for a while. I'm pretty sure you can have more features, but you log in your YouTube channel and it has milestones. So it keeps track on it keeps track on all these different milestones. So my subs are like 1,700 is 1 week ago is the last milestone, but also upcoming milestones at the bottom.
Yeah.
And then so it has your name and the subscriber count at the top of this app. I'll do a screenshot and send it to you on Facebook, and then it has subscribers. It says 20 to go to my next milestone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Over
Well,
3,500 to get to the views, and it says upload. But then videos, comments, I guess it's kind of like YouTube Studio, but a little bit different. And it's just nice to have that difference. It's similar to YouTube Studio, but also it's different enough that it's quite a nice little app to use.
yeah. Well, I've got it in. I'm just looking at it on the App Store right now. Like you, I do have the vidIQ one, and
Yeah.
I haven't. After a while, I just sort of, I don't know, I've just lost interest in it.
Yeah.
But
They changed it all when they updated it a lot. It wasn't quite as useful as it used to be.
But look, it's a bit like there's a bunch of guys out there who do videos of, they teach you how to do welding, all sorts of welding, right? My advice to people, if you want to go down a road, whatever it is, if you want to learn something and somebody's offering some sort of course on YouTube, I would start with one person first, right? And stick with that person until you become confident in what you're doing.
And familiar with them and what they're doing.
Yeah, and then if you feel like you got to a point where you might want to have a different angle on it, then go and watch someone else. Don't go and watch half a dozen people at a time. And that's why I decided.
I guess they say too many chefs spoil the broth and stuff like that. It's too much going on.
That's correct. That's correct.
That's why I was procrastinating for a long time about joining the accelerator program on Primal Video, and I thought, bugger it, I'm just going to do it and see how it goes. And I'm glad I did.
So it sounds like you're enjoying it.
So far, so good. Yeah. I also I've opened up memberships on my channel as well. I procrastinated over that a lot because I didn't think I had enough value in my content. But after looking at it several times, I went for the lowest one possible, which is $1.49, and I'm going to see if anything comes of that. And there's the Primal Video course also teaches you about looking at other income streams in terms of referrals or affiliate marketing.
Affiliate links, yeah.
Affiliate links, yes, they do talk about that.
You've done a few, which I thought were quite enjoyable as well, to be honest. You've done a few like product reviews and stuff like that. So as your channel grows, you could, like when you're working on a certain part of your steamroller and you need a certain tool and there might be a company, you could even maybe reach out to them. And so a lot of times they might just give you the tool for free and then it's free promotion for them. But then that's still, a free tool for you. I know I've done that on my hobby channel. I got a pair of nippers, like little clippers. I was a part of, I've got it here. I ended up, because they was nice, I ended up like back in their Kickstarter, but they sent me one of these, which is a wet palette. But I got the grey prototype version for free. They sent, and that was part of the promotion. So this company's not actually around anymore for whatever reason. I know it's hard out there for different businesses. But yeah, you can choose different text, and obviously I put G the Hyper Sapien, but you can put different text, and that's a really long name, but you can, and it's a wet palette, and you have a magnetic piece that comes in here and keeps your paper. So you have like a sponge type material that keeps hydrated. Then you have a piece of paper which is similar to like baking paper. And this is obviously as well cut to the size of this, so it just makes it easier. You can make a dodgy, cheapy one of yourself. But yeah, that was another. I ended up back in the Kickstarter, and they had different colors. So I got the green one just because that's kind of the color of that channel. But yeah, no, I was sent the grey prototype one, so I did like a review, and that's happened on Funk and Hungry as well. Obviously, they just sent me food or whatever to review, didn't pay me, but they at least it's yeah, it feels like you're progressing and moving forward when stuff like that happens. It's someone actually feels like my presentation or what I'm doing is good enough for them to send me stuff, even if it's not a paid gig. It's still, you get to keep the product, or obviously if it's food, they're probably not going to ask for the food back once you've ate it. But you know, but yeah,
Yeah, no,
that's
that's definitely something I'm going to consider. I I don't know where a lot of these companies draw the line on how big someone's channel is going to be, or what that sort of thing. I know a few guys do review from tools from Banggood. They do some pretty good stuff actually. So yeah, it's certainly something to consider, and a little bit
well,
further down the line.
it's, I feel like even if you did reach out, well, what's the worst that's going to happen? They'll say no.
Yeah.
Also, G the Hyper Sapien, the hobby channel, is still not over 1,000, and I was getting people interested, and like I had an affiliate link for a while because I've focused more on Funk and Hungry. That kind of has died off, but I still am technically affiliated with Gap Games, which is a Brisbane-based hobby store. Funny enough, when Alfred came, I know they had to close down for a few days, but the bloke there, Brett, is really lovely, and his company was quite small. And one of the ways I connected with him is because most places don't sell spray paints, like so I use them as a primer on models. But most of the time, because of planes and stuff, if it's in a different state, they won't send them over. But for a short while, he was doing that through. It might take a little bit longer, but he can get them to you. But it'll be through like a van or a car or whatever. It won't be going over plane. So I spoke to him a little bit from that,
Mm.
and we ended up changing numbers. And because he was a small business at the time, I gave him a bit of a shout out. I gave him, I said, "Oh, shout out to Gap Games, great plays. They helped me out and all this stuff." And he appreciated that. So eventually made me affiliate, one of the first affiliates of Gap Games. Now his company is, in a few years, I think it might be the fourth year now, his company is just blown up, and he's working with YouTubers that have very big channels now. So of course, really, that's the focus now. But yeah, he said that he wanted to work with commission painters, YouTubers, and like try and help them. It's like that help each other kind of situation, help promote his business, but he wants obviously people to know that his business is helping others. Yeah, as I said, I got sent a few items as well. Just sometimes it's weird how stuff works as well. You don't really have that much communication with a company or someone. They just find out that you're a YouTuber or a content creator and just sort of, like, especially I was given shout outs to the company that I got the 3D printed wet palette from. I kind of gave them a shout out when I got, I don't know, I got some models or something from them. So I'm always happy to shout out companies, leave all of their information in the description box. And a lot of times from that, people are just that happy that they'll, like on Funk and Hungry, I need to get around to doing it, but Chicken Chef is meant to have the world or Australia's best chips. That can be, everyone is different, so that's up for debate.
Mm.
But the guy I've reviewed them, and both, they have two different stores, and both guys have like invited me as a guest and said, if you're around the area, come in, and no doubt they'll probably make me some chips or something. But also recently they put me on their website. So when you go to their website, they have a Blair Apple store, a Gillis Plains store. So they have the two links for the different stores. then they have Funkin' Hungry's review on their website, and then under it they have a news article where the 7 News or whatever company news did a little piece on them. So again, like sometimes just stuff like that happens where I didn't really push for that to happen, but it just organically and naturally happened and moved in that direction without me saying, "Oh, let me be a part of it. Like I want to be a part of it, please." Like it just happened, and so yeah, definitely with your product reviews and stuff like that. Maybe what would be good is I'm not sure if your Facebook page is private or public, but you could put those reviews. So I do this on Funkin' Hungry, put up my reviews and tag the company in it. So, if you put up your review and say, I reviewed this, and then you can tag the company. Most companies have Facebook pages and stuff like that.
Mm.
And then they'll see that you're promoting them and stuff. And sometimes it can move from there. And that's just another way that I've been, it's kind of like involving the company without annoying them. But sometimes the smaller companies, sometimes I had messaged them and said, when I was starting my hobby channel, some of the smaller companies I did message and say, or I've reviewed your product or whatever. Some just say that, oh, I really appreciate it, especially back when I first started. They probably thought, oh, this guy's an idiot, They probably still think that, but the editing and all the rest of it, the presentation was very different at the start than it is now. But yeah, and then some companies wanted to send me stuff or whatever from there. So I guess that huge answer is I don't know how big of a channel it has to be before they get involved, but I feel like just a few hundred subs and people were willing to collaborate.
Yeah, it's amazing. Some of the other channels that I look at, I think, hang on a minute, they haven't been going that long, or they haven't got many videos up, and they got tremendous amount of views. And okay, right.
Yeah.
So obviously, they're either maybe they're putting money into promote their stuff, which you can do. You can buy subscribers. I know that. It's just. Look, at this moment, I'm going down this track, and we'll see how things go. As I get a bit more established, obviously things will get better, and you really never know who's watching these videos.
Yeah, that's funny that you said that. Still got them here. I need to actually use them because they'll probably run out before I get around to using them, and I have had them for a while. These Red Rooster vouchers, but there's not really a Red Rooster that close to me. It's a bit of a. But the reason I got Red Rooster vouchers, they basically sent a gift pack, maybe 4 pens, a couple of face masks because that was around the COVID time, a jumper of Red Rooster, and a couple of vouchers, and they reached out for emails. There was no basically it wasn't like I had to get it, and there was no and what they did is they saw me review KFC hot and spicy, and they was saying they saw me review KFC hot and spicy and I quite enjoyed it, so maybe it's like hint maybe review their fried chicken.
Yep.
And they gave me obviously some gift vouchers and just bits and pieces, little knickknacks too. But yeah, I've never got that from Macca's, Jackers and Clackers, and I probably won't ever get that from them unless my channel blows up quite a lot. But Red Rooster is still quite a big well-known company, a lot of stores and all the rest of it. But it just goes to show you, like you said, you never know who's watching, and sometimes the competitors watching to see your opinion, I guess, and then also like, oh yeah, well, maybe they liked the review, or that I just liked the chicken, so they wanted me to get around to doing that. And I have nothing against Red Rooster. I would actually review them more if they was a little bit more closer to me.
Well, lucky for me, they're just around the corner.
They've got some Jesus out.
Me, only 40 minutes away from the nearest one.
Yeah.
Out of a place called Young.
How far, Roger's yours?
Don't have any big there's a city about 10,000 people called Young,
So you don't have none of those big stores near you, do you?
and you know what the village is near Young's called? Wombat. A village called Wombat.
What's Wombat your version of Red Rooster?
That's a
Great,
village
great
near Young.
Wombat.
It's like a little village.
Well, Roger, Rosie's chicken is pretty well on par with what Red Rooster offers. And actually, I think from what you guys are reviewed, I think Rosie's is almost a little bit better than Red Rooster, to tell you the truth.
Well, they're actually in a partnership with a cafe in town called Tarragon Cafe. Or they coming some sort of partnership there. It's up near the local Woolworths and that it is. It's near the local Woolies in town. So I know where it is. It's 2 shops down because between Woolies and the Rosie's Chicken is Woolworths, a local butchery, and Rosie's Chicken.
Well, I don't think I'd ever run out of places to review, only if I had maybe like a cameraman and editor like some of these big channels do, because then I could just focus on the review sides. I can focus on finding the places, going and presenting it, and obviously eating the food. And it would also be good to have someone to help eat the food, because even if the food is funkin' delicious, like you can't. Sometimes you want to review like a few bits and pieces, but yeah, you can't do it often if only you're eating the food. But yeah, there's a lot of amazing local places in South Australia, and Adelaide alone, Adelaide's huge and has a lot of good places in Adelaide alone, let alone South Australia. Yeah, Red Rooster, when I first moved here, I first got associated with it. I just did think it was a bit of a glorified version of any chicken shops you could go to. It's pretty consistent, but it's just a barbecue rotisserie chicken and some chips and a few bits. But it has definitely started to expand and change what it's like over the years. It is. I do now, even if they just sent me the vouchers, I've had these for a couple of years. So don't. I'm not saying it just to lick their ass, but yeah, their fried chicken is actually pretty bloody good. When I've had it, it is pretty damn good. To me, that roast chicken is good, but it's probably no different, really, much different than if I just go to a place around the corner. Their chips are good, but then again, local places do some very similar stuff, and chips are hit and miss. The Chicken Chef place that I did review and mention before that has won awards, and they're when I go back there, maybe I'll do another review, but in person on location, and maybe try their rotisserie chicken or something. We'll see what happens. But yeah, there's a few places that I need to get around to going to, because the last time I spoke to the guy that owns Chicken Chef, he's like, "Oh yeah, if you come, you'll have to pop in one day." And he's like, if I ever see you in town, I'll buy you a few beers and all this stuff." But damn, I just did a review. I did a review for you, but that just shows you though how much people appreciate that sort of stuff. Like and I try not to be a bullshit artist when I do that, especially these days. When I first started, it wasn't me bullshitting, but I think like maybe when I was a smaller channel, or maybe I don't know, maybe confidence comes into it. I was a little more reluctant to kind of tell the truth or sort of bag places. But when it comes to stuff like McDonald's, though, we all know it can be shit or it can be okay. It can hit the spot and do the job sometimes. But yeah, respect if it's decent, but if it's trash, I'm just gonna say it's trash. Yeah. But when I looked back at me doing the Australian Pizza House, I did feel like I could have probably drilled it in that the ribs were a bit shit, maybe a little bit more than I did, but also maybe
I think you did well with that.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe I got the point across without being too nasty about it. Because
you did well. It described it pretty balanced, and I did a pretty balanced job, I think. G.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, you didn't go over the top, and you didn't undercut us, so you did well.
yeah, so it's like some stuff was good, some stuff was crap. That bloody cheesy garlic ham damper, that was really lovely for just such a. I feel like sometimes the basic stuff is what works so well. It's flavors that we know we've probably all had since kids or whatever, but the damper was nice, soft, had a nice cook to it, and I would have, to be honest, I would have been happy with that. Like if that was my lunch, I would have been happy with just that. That hit the spot, that and a drink. Maybe a tea or a cola or something. That would have been really good. So,
Well, that was my
but
comment
yeah,
to you on that video. Was that, to me, that stood out. I thought, now that's nobody's ever. I haven't seen anything like that around. Maybe they are doing
yeah,
something like that here, but I haven't seen it. But that to me, for the price, that was a no brainer.
yeah, definitely. Especially if you just got like say a fiver in your pocket, or that's kind of what you want to spend. That and you could probably get a drink, or maybe it might be a bit much. I think it's about 350 or something. So you might not be able to get a drink out of it. But yeah, if you just sometimes you just want something to snack on, that's fine. Just something like to grab and snack on,
Mm.
or go home. Like a lot of times I won't buy drinks because I can just have a tea or a water or whatever I've got here. Um, yeah, and I know people who have watched Drunk and Hungry for a while did know that I wanted to try that shepherd pie pizza for a while. But also, even outside of Drunk and Hungry, they've done those mango on pizza for a good 10, 15 or more years, that place. And I've just never got around to trying it. And a lot of times, if I did get pizza, I would just get your stock standard Supreme or Meat Lovers or whatever, go with
Mm.
what I know is good. But then the whole point of, doing Funkin' Hungry is sometimes to go outside and find some weird, different stuff. And yeah, that mango on pizza actually worked really well with the barbecue sauce and the other ingredient.
You'll find too that well, I have anyway over the years. Your tastes are going to change a little bit too. What maybe something you never used to like, you do like now. You know.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, there you go. Starsy saying, if only you lived in bloody Adelaide and not, I'll be nice and just say Mount Gambier. I won't. But yeah, that would be funny. Stylesy, Director Stylesy, you would actually you could tell me what to do. I can't. Come
Nicole,
on, come on.
Nicole,
What are you doing?
oh my God, called me at Canberra, the South Australian version of Bathurst, because we've got similar population.
Yeah.
There's most cities and about 30 or 40,000 people, So I called me at Canberra, the South Australian Bathurst, because I come from New South Wales and I'm a bit biased.
Well, I do watch Rate My Takeaway quite a bit, and this Danny guy is the presenter, but because he came together with his mates. This was around COVID time, I think, for they, work and other stuff. But then that channel ended up blowing up. Rate My Takeaway it is, and they have an editor, a cameraman, and Danny the presenter. But because the editor and cameraman don't really want to be as involved in the channel, they want to be known as what they are. So he actually calls them cameraman and editor. To a lot of time he would speak to the cameraman and call him cameraman, and all the rest of it. They haven't really said their name, the cameraman's name, and the rest of it. But Danny will open up about his family, and he's the presenter. He'll be a bit more open and talk about his
Yeah,
personal life. And then the editor sometimes comes along, and he'll call him the editor. So you can't see him again. The editor will be behind the camera
yeah.
instead of the cameraman, but he'll call him editor.
Yeah. With
He'll
the
say,
shots
"Oh
as
yeah,
well.
the editor." Yeah. So
Yeah. They get the shots
Stylesy
and
would
edit
probably be
everything up.
someone like Stylesy would probably be down for that. And then once I've tried the chips or whatever, Stylesy can eat the
Yeah.
rest of them.
Or me, I can eat
Yeah,
anything. Because it comes
but,
to the whole situation, I can eat anything myself. Even things that you don't want to, you think it's a bit unconventional to eat, not.
mm,
I've got family in the military and they get taught survival skills as well. You get taught you have to
yeah,
secrets you can get and stuff. So, and I got taught that too, the survival off the land and that. And I hunt and get other what you can get and stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I'm fucking hungry I'd like to do, and really I'm not earning enough to even pay my own bills, as in I'm not getting enough to pay for all of my expenses myself, so I wouldn't be able to hire a cameraman or whatever.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's
like
not
you were
like
saying
well,
before, I would love to do cultural foods, and I'd love to get involved in like native Australian foods, like go see Aboriginals. And I did do that a little bit on this Operation Flinders thing I went to. Um,
yeah,
they taught you a little bit about survival. Aboriginal bloke. There was this old Caucasian bloke who showed us the mines, like the mines, and how they
yeah,
used to do a lot of the mine work.
yeah,
And then there was an Aboriginal bloke who taught us a little bit about survival. He showed us a little bit about a
yeah.
boomerang. He cooked us
Yeah, I've
some.
got that too, mate. Yeah, and I was
Yeah,
told about
I think
that. I've got that too.
I think it might have been the first time I tried kangaroo as well. Maybe he did a kangaroo stew. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
well,
did cook. We did cook damper once, the traditional way on the coals, and then you cover it up, and
yeah, yeah, because
that was.
one I tried kangaroo, crocodile for the first time. I thought it tasted like a chicken, and
Uh,
a few other things as well. And is it this how you skin things and like to get certain meats and stuff? And
yeah,
also
yeah,
draw this is how we draw and whatnot. It's an interesting experience come from a different background from East from and that, and I thought it was quite interesting. I
yeah,
always
yeah. It
spoken
is
about
very interesting.
cultures from around the world, like Africa, North and South America, and Australia, New Zealand, and like this get intrigued by the indigenous cultures and everything, and like to learn about them.
And that's why sometimes if I talk to, I don't know, an Asian person or whatever, I ask them questions about their culture, beliefs,
Yeah,
their food,
yeah,
and religions and stuff, because I find it all interesting. And or if I'm
yeah,
talking to someone who isn't like a Westerner or an Australian, I might say, oh, they say, yeah, I'm cooking. I'll say, oh, yeah, what are you cooking? And if it's something I've never heard of, an African dish or something, I'll either look it up or just go, oh,
yeah,
yeah, that sounds
yeah.
interesting stuff. It's
Because
very different.
just exchanging, talk about different cultures. That's how not that like it's not racism. It's just how you exchange information with people. That's how you learn from
Yeah,
other people. And that's how you draw in and you might
really,
pass on to someone else who might not be so sure on that.
I'd say it's probably the
That's how
opposite of
exchange.
racism. I don't know if there's a word for that, but it's
Yeah,
like racism is being
it's
anti
cool.
against
Yeah,
everything, but then like
anti.
like the opposite of racism would be someone that's
Yeah,
interested and takes notice
yeah,
of someone else's culture and
yeah.
appreciates it. It's stuff that I wasn't
That's
grown
how.
up on. It's stuff that I haven't been exposed to.
Yeah,
But now the way the world is with
that's
the
how I like
internet
having
and
cultures.
the rest of it is
Yeah, because I like learning about other cultures myself, like you do. That's how people learn how to interact with other people from different cultures and that. And that's how we learn to get. That's how humanity flourished because we exchange information about things,
yeah,
and
exactly.
that's because humanity got this knack to learn up here,
Mm,
and that's how you learn. Yeah, that's how humanity can flourish from one generation to the next, because due to information we receive from with each other and stuff, and that's how humanity flourished before because of exchange of information.
yeah,
And that's
exactly.
how it flourished into the future as well.
We used to go back to when there was no transportation besides maybe horse and cart and stuff like that. And different cities, they'd bring different food, different arts, different
Yeah,
knowledge to and from,
yeah,
pass that information on,
yeah.
and that's how places develop.
Yeah. Yeah, before most humanity can read and write, there had to be through word of mouth before most humanity can read and write. Because
Yeah,
let's say 200 years ago, only about very few people can read and write.
Yeah, yeah.
Nowadays,
The more wealthy or the people that are exposed to that would have the knowledge
very,
and
very small
information.
amount of health even.
Yeah.
And nowadays, a lot of people can read and write, and we can pass on information, and as I said, we can pass around. Yes, once in a while there might be false information go around, but that's be passed
Oh, look
part
at
and
them!
parcel
Look at
when
those
you
beautiful doggies.
even
Yeah, the shed dogs.
retrievers.
They followed me up here because I got a cup of tea and biscuits, and they think they're going to get something.
Max shed
Yeah,
dog too seems like he's a lot more chilled these days, or is that just because food, or has he relaxed a bit?
Oh yeah, no, he's pretty chilled.
Yeah, lost a bit of that puppiness.
Yeah,
That puppiness.
he still does a
this
bit crazy. He's still only 8 months old, but
Yeah, wow.
hopefully very soon he'll start his training to be my wife's assistant's dog.
Yeah. No, he
is
looks like
are they
looks like he's
retriever
doing
dogs?
well just from looks like his basic commands and
Yeah,
all
he
that sort of stuff is quite
from pretty well
doing
since
quite
we got
well.
him. He's always just been a pretty chill dog.
Yeah,
He's lacking in confidence in some things, and we do a bit of training, but it's going to ramp up a little bit more. You know.
hmm.
But,
Are they golden retrievers? Is one dog golden retriever and are they both retrievers or
yeah,
dogs?
he's golden retriever,
Yeah,
and
that's also and
this one is Labrador Akita.
Oh,
oh.
Akita is
I
a
know the
Japanese
yellow dog's a
puppy dog.
golden retriever, but I'm not sure about the other one too much. I'll
Yeah,
put the both retrievers as well.
no,
They look very similar.
they really they've really been good for each other.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
before she used
As long as
to,
they get along, it's be
like,
fine.
yeah, they get along. Before she used to mope around a lot because she was sort of by herself, and but now they play like crazy,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's been good
They
for
get
both.
along, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's each other's spirits and stuff.
Because I guess dogs
Let's
are
each
pack
other's
animals,
spirits
so
when we
it
get the other
probably
dog.
it feels like she has like a different role in the pack now. Like
Yeah,
she and being dogs as well.
yeah.
They yeah,
Dogs like
they like to
humans. Yeah.
play and
Dogs like humans. They are group animals, social animals. Dogs are very much like animals. Humans. They're social
yeah,
animals. Dogs are like humans. Because humans are social, so is dogs. So they sort of complement each other in that, for thousands of years.
that's right.
yeah. With dogs always amaze me how they can communicate without actually talking. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have this like force of nature that just happens, and they sometimes with
Yeah.
just a slight bit of body language or whatever, or a slight movement and stuff, they know what they're trying to communicate to each other. All animals
Body
are
language is
pretty much
we
like that. They have this great way of communicating.
we have the same. You'll find that
Yeah,
you, most of us aren't aware of it, but when you're in a situation with a tight knit group, for
yeah,
instance, if you're say in the defence force and you're
mm,
a leader of
yeah.
not a
It's
squadron,
true.
but maybe an elite force of snipers or something like that.
mm.
You do develop, um, skills
A
communicating.
communication without
Yeah, that is
verbal,
true. Yeah,
non-verbal
they have to. Yeah,
communication.
because they
Yeah,
rely on body language in the defence force. They do, Mark. Yes. Yeah, that's correct
sometimes
there,
it could
Mark.
be
They do rely on a lot of signals and
sometimes little
stuff. Yeah,
hand
for body.
movements, or even moving your eyes and
Yep,
facing a certain
Yeah.
way.
yep.
Yeah, because they rely on body language, and they get taught how to do it too in the defence force when they make trainings, and then when they go on the field, they can know what to do and do body language. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh no, I had family in the military myself, both Australia and the UK. Where you're from, too, as well. Defence forces, and
Yeah,
I got taught that. Yeah, because one of my grandfathers was a sniper in World War One.
yeah, yeah.
Mm, yeah, so that's what I love. Yeah,
Snipers
no,
always
techniques and body and that.
snipers always, I guess, intrigue me because there's a lot of patience and stuff behind that. If you're on the front line, it's
You
more
have to,
adrenaline based. It's more, it's a whole different situation, I guess. And being a sniper, a lot of
it is.
patience, a lot of, knowing what to do and what
It's
not
a
to do.
me too.
Very,
Yeah,
very
they have to.
mental.
Yeah, they have to taught how to hide, how to build nests, and also what other snipers do by Z formation. So when look at them snipers go. Z, z, z,
Yeah,
z,
the
z,
weather and
z,
stuff comes into it a lot of obviously as well. Recoil,
yeah.
weather, and
Yeah.
wind direction, and
And they have to learn how to build a hiding nest, sniper nest, and also they
well,
have to taught how to
because
line up um things too.
I've got a couple of magnums and pistols and stuff, and yeah, you see a lot of films, and then when you finally do it yourself, you're like, oh god, I'm shit.
It's a lot harder
The
to
recoil,
try to practice these things.
and different stuff. You go, I'm going to shoot here, and
Yeah,
all of a sudden the bullet
yeah,
goes in a direction that you didn't
yeah. Because
expect it to, and you're like, all right,
Well,
there's a bit more
one
skill
of
to
my
this thing.
grandfathers did sniper before the scope got brought in. Before the scopes were,
Oh, yeah.
he's World War One, and they have to line those little
The little
little
the,
U things on
the
the
little
gun and that.
target part.
Yeah, they'll take part of the rifles and that, and you have to put them on his shoulder because it's on the right hand side, right shoulder, because most of the balls go up the right hand side, and so there's the powder. So you have
Mm.
plus a lot of rifles kick back, and they have to further that too, because this is called kick pads got brought in for rifles as well, or kick pads. Because they have a lot of kick pads, or all guns have kickbacks in that. Even handguns certain kickbacks,
Yeah,
and also have big
that's why
kickbacks on them. And
they used to have
yeah,
that
like
part
that,
that goes on your shoulder, and you need to have it in a certain part, otherwise you can break
yeah,
your shoulder or
yeah,
your
you have to
chest.
put it out. No, it's a, yeah, no, if you dislocate your shoulder or hurt your pec and whatnot, yeah. This is for kick pads was invented as well for rifles, because these days you got kick pads and you can line up in certain ways these days, you know.
This day, a lot
My
more lightweight
grandfather
like stuff.
was a sniper at the Western Front, and he said he likes to take. They usually got targets to do like sergeants and below. Like you like to pick off sergeants better because after they run out of people to make a sergeant and stuff. Not everybody can be a good sergeant, he said. Like I can remember people saying that. He said the bigger
the
the
other thing,
prize, the higher up the people they are, the bigger the prize, and that is and that. Well, I got taught. Yes, mate.
the,
Um,
the other thing
this
that snipers have got to
yeah,
take into account, especially if they're shooting long ranges, is the magnetic fields of the Earth too.
Yeah,
mm,
yeah. It gives a concern where the balls can go to. Yeah, because it's everything goes to that. Like G said, weather and everything else as well. Weather and
but
magnetic fields and stuff. Yeah, they have to take everything into account.
rewinding back a little bit more. Also, on Drunk and Hungry, I need to start. I don't know, organising stuff more. I want to do as well more hunting, sort of survival type stuff, fishing. I did have. I probably just need to reach out to him, but I did have a mate that he said to me he goes hunting and fishing quite a lot, and he did say, for content, would you like to go hunt rabbits or something? And then you have that side of it, filming a little bit of how what goes into that.
Mm.
Then you would obviously catch a food source, and then you would. I'm not familiar with it, but I'm sure he would show me, or maybe I can try it, and he'll just sort of tell me how to do it. Obviously, you're going to have to skin, gut, and prepare it into a from an animal to a food source, and then cook it. And I'm not going to go too far into, oh yeah, it's got a very unique flavor, but like it's just it's a fresh food. It's real life, and it's fresh food, and maybe just throw a few herbs and bits and pieces. If I'm around people that are know about how to do it a lot more than me. I'd kind of just go with however they prepare it or how they like to eat it. And I've always felt that sort of content could be fun, especially with some Indigenous people as well. Yeah, and if Funkin' Hungry ever did take off, which, as we said, it's probably never going to be a Mr. Beast, but yeah, I'd love to do that in different cultures and stuff as well. Like Australia being multicultural, we have a lot of Africans, Asians, Indigenous people to Australia, so there's a lot of different ways that their culture prepare food and how they're raised to eat food and what they do with the different food sources. So I feel that would be something that I would personally enjoy, but also I feel like a lot of other, because I like the traveling foodie shows where they travel, show a little bit of the architecture and the culture, but then they show the the way the different cultures have food and stuff and what they do with it.
That'd be a good thing to do, G, and
Usually,
I'd highly recommend you looking into
Try
that
and push it a
further.
bit.
Well, at least give it a try.
Yeah.
One other thing I've started to do on my channel and partners, pardon, I'll go back to talking about what I've learned so far, is making playlists, putting things into play. Hang on a second.
Mr. Beefy Breast. Don't know about the breast. I don't know. Well, I do know about breast, but I don't know about Mr. Beast's breast. Shout out to Mr. Beast if you're watching. Hello. Show us your breasts. I'll give you some beads if you do, some Mardi Gras beads. So, Wizard's talking about, I've never had an unusual experience with Dogton Park because, I always go there for an exercise. I never see much dogs. Yeah, when it comes to dogs, some dogs can be either aggressive or timid due to like not having training and the rest of it, but it doesn't really make them a bad dog. But then some dogs can be very aggressive and stuff because of training. So sometimes it's lack of training, sometimes people have trained them to be vicious and stuff. But I mean, Soul was a Staffordshire Bull Terrier cross Bull Terrier. So they're pit breeds, or bull breeds. So bulldogs and pit bulls, and they're all a part of the same family. And some say they're very aggressive,
yeah,
but also staffies are known as nanny dogs as well. In a different, they're known as nanny
yeah,
dogs because they're very caring. They're very they understand how
yeah, that's
they're
pretty much
they're very
true.
good
Yeah,
with children. Staffies are. So
yeah, they usually are depending on the owner. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. And then
depending on the owner.
Staffy's being very close to pit bulls. Obviously, pit bulls are known as fighting dogs and the rest of it. And so yeah, it just definitely depends. But also sometimes the smaller dog breeds I've found have been some of the most aggressive, very
Like
small foxy
Pomeranians, I
dogs
reckon.
and Jack Russell foxy type breeds and Chihuahuas and
The
stuff. They can all be
Pomeranians,
quite
the
aggressive.
smaller
And
ones too. How about the Pomeranians, little smaller ones
yeah,
too?
yeah,
Little small
yeah.
hairy dogs.
Mm.
Because there's more hairy dogs, Pomeranians. Because and also I know what you mean about Jack Russells and stuff, and you found that too. Because some dog breeds change over time too. Because if you look at pairs of German Shepherds, let's say 100 years ago, compared to now, they look a little bit different.
Yeah, definitely. Oh well, we got into a bit of a conversation and just realised it's gone over TikTok time. Official TikTok o'clock.
Mm.
Mm.
Ah, yeah, now I'm 20, nearly. 3, 2, 1.
When
Now
does
it's 80
daylight
minutes.
saving finish for you guys?
In April sometime,
Okay.
so it'll be not sure the exact day, but
Yeah,
I guess maybe closest to Easter.
I thought it was the end of March
about a
that it
month away.
finished.
Says
It's
6th
in
of
mid-April,
April here.
Anzac Day this year.
6th of,
What
6th of
do
October
you
to 6th of
call?
April. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, 3 weeks away. Sunday, 6th of April on a Sunday. Yeah, because I've been wanting to get back into walking, but being hot, but also I prefer walking in the evening. But then evening is 9 o'clock. Will get dark. So,
I've got
that's just me.
Passover from
Prefer
the
to walk
12th of
best.
April to the 20th. I got Passover. I'm Jewish. I got Passover, which begins sundown on the 12th of April till the 20th. The holiday for me. And I used to start. Your Easter's on the 18th, isn't it? Easter isn't the 18th of the
The
21st,
20th.
I believe. Like 20th, yeah. Oh, yeah. I got Passover during the time. My stage of the Passover when the Easter comes. Then a few days after, you got Anzac Day. Which is good. I respect Anzac Day. I respect it. People celebrate Easter as well, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, well,
That,
when
yeah.
it comes to holidays and religion and stuff, is very, we could probably talk about that a lot in itself. It does interest me
Yeah, I
that
got Passover.
since I've moved here, it's probably more commercial.
Yes.
The big businesses getting involved.
Yeah.
But Australia's always celebrated these holidays, but now it's very, I don't know, maybe materialized or because
A
Easter has
bit.
become the last few years. Easter has become huge here now. Halloween is huge. Saint Patrick's Day is now huge. Like they have a lot of merchandise and stuff, just as much as you
Irish.
probably maybe a bit less, but probably almost as much as they do for Australia Day now when it comes to gimmicky bits and pieces. I
We
think
got a
good old
St.
Saint George. I
Patrick's
think
Day on
Saint
Monday.
George's Day no one cares about though.
Well, it's not a holiday here like you do in the UK. It's not a holiday
Yeah,
here like the
yeah.
UK because
It's
remember my mother used to say about St. George's Day and that. Is that you
Yeah,
don't
well,
celebrate
also
this day and then they do there.
I also know that in England, because of I guess this was even before wokeness, but you weren't really allowed to celebrate being English with like putting out England flags and stuff because it would offend other cultures and stuff. So St. George's
Really?
Day, that is in April as well. I don't know if it is April
Yeah.
19th or something. I should know this, but it's
How about that?
it's how Australia went through that and probably is still going through it a little bit. Like you're not allowed to almost celebrate being
Ah,
patriotic to Australia and
that's
putting out
what
flags. And
the right wing talking points are about, but not really, because I see all Australian flags hang up around this town, and this is a
yeah,
very this is a conservative town I live in. You know, like they like to vote for a Liberal government, which is a conservative government in Australia. You know, a bit like the
mm,
Conservatives there's in the UK you're from, G. Bit like the
mm.
Republican Party in the UK, US and that. I say US because that's the case Mrs. Austin watches it.
I mean, I don't
They're
really care
very
about
conservative in their
flags,
mind and that.
and I don't really care about flags. And everyone's different, but I don't feel like I need to. It's almost like a brand in a way. Yeah, I'm born in a certain country, but it's almost like it's become like a like a sports brand almost. But I don't mind if people really do like to be patriotic and stuff like that. I can understand it and feel like they should be allowed to, but I just
And it all
aren't really.
depends on the person and Lempty.
Yeah,
You know?
and with me, I feel like I've been a part of Australian culture for so long that but also I still identify as well with being British. Has been crossing my mind to become an Australian citizen though recently.
You do.
So,
Because you get more
and I bet.
benefits being an Australian citizen. You have to get
Mm.
bit more benefits too out of it. Because in a
And
long
I
run,
feel as well that
with
I feel like I'm not planning or whatever to go back to England or be associated with that really. So dual citizenship and
Because
yeah,
they're allowed to do citizenship both the Australia and UK. So that way you get more benefits. Being instead of dual citizen, then you would just be in English.
so how do
You
I
get a lot
become an
more
Australian
deals.
citizen? Do I have to eat like a Vegemite sandwich or something? And then they're like, "Good on you,
No,
mate." So how it
if
happened.
it do that, my mum would have had to do it 51 years ago when she moved to Australia. Because she
Yeah,
was in the she's in this is before the Australian Act. She came out before the Australian Act, which means any one from the UK also that she was a £10 pot, which means £10 for the processing fee.
yeah. Mm.
Which means didn't have to go through the paperwork to become Australian citizen at the time for the 1986 Australian Act.
And I don't know. I feel like transitioning from England to Australia was a lot more easier than because my parents were thinking of like going to like USA as well. And this is nothing
Yeah,
against
that
Americans, but I
it would
feel
be
like
huge.
Australian humour, culture, food, a lot
Yeah,
of stuff is like very overlapped with UK. Where
yeah,
in
they
America it
do have a
just
love
feels like
fair bit
it's
there.
it feels like
Different
America would be quite different. That's me,
because we
or
do have
maybe
a
I've
little
just
bit of
been
US
here
fair
long
bit.
enough where it feels familiar. Yeah.
Because of as far as I'm watching both, they do overlap a fair bit. Like
But it's just funny sometimes, even when Joanne or whatever comes on here and she gets confused of stuff. But it's even like when you say pies, most British people and Australians would assume you mean like a meat pie, and then Americans like
yeah,
don't really understand that concept and would feel like you mean like an apple
yeah,
pie or whatever. It's just a lot of
because
similarities in ways.
after this when I was touring the US, when I was on a holiday, they had to explain some woman over there too. When I was over there 21 years ago, was in Colorado. I started talking to Sheila about the differences between Australia and like I was back in Australia at the time because I was talking to woman who's from Latin America, from Mexico or Honduras actually. I thought she was Mexican. She says, no, from Honduras. So she has this Latin American accent. I was in the
So
Southern States at the time, and she said, are you from Australia? I says, yeah, Australia. Because it's not Chatham. And says, you're from Mexico, are you? Or I says, no, I'm from Honduras. Because that's this
pretty funny as
accent
well.
on.
This never happened like when I was a kid. But I guess technology is different as well, and AI and accents and stuff all come into it. You know, some apps now it says like English. It will say English Australian, English UK, English American because of
Yeah.
I guess the differences. But back in my day, it was just English. Everything was just English.
Well,
So yeah,
Terry,
I
He's
do actually
smart.
find
Terry speaks English.
about what
I got
about
to do.
5%,
I can
five
speak
percent
German
of
if you want. I got to do.
5%
Listen,
English.
I don't follow on my. I can say that because I'm quite lost my German.
The funny thing is,
My
don't tell
English, I'm
anyone,
used to
but
English
normally I
German.
pick the Australian English. Uh, yeah, it was very interesting coming here, and the a lot of stuff's pronounced the same, but because I remember, I don't know, I guess this maybe it triggered me a little bit, but in England they're called rulers, and in Australian they're called rulers. And when I said
Yeah,
ruler,
well,
no one understood. People looked at me like I was
I
speaking
would
some
have
sort of
understood what
alien
you.
language. So
Yeah.
then I had
If you
to,
said
then
it to
I
me,
had
I
to,
would have known what you said.
and it took
Because my
me,
mum's from
I'm,
America,
I'm like,
from the term.
a ruler, and then the people are like,
Mm.
why didn't you say so? And I'm like, well, I did, but
Yeah.
I've just slightly pronounced it slightly different to you. So then it, I've said it
Yeah.
before as well. When
I would have understood what you said.
sometimes when I do videos, I even find myself going into like the British pronunciation and then going into the Aussie pronunciation in the same video, pronouncing the same whatever it is. and it'll go in and out of different dialects, and I don't even notice that I'm doing it until I edit, and I'm like, yeah, you said this different a few times now, differently. So now sometimes I just act like an idiot and pronounce stuff like an idiot. Sometimes I just say stuff wrong just to see if it triggers anyone. When I did the churros one, instead of like pronouncing it like a true Aussie or whatever, like churros, I'm like tried to like, make it sound like I was sophisticated. It's like churros. And it's like I was watching this English guy. They say hummus as hummus in England.
Hummus, yeah, hummus, yeah.
They're like hummus, and it's like hummus.
Yeah.
But like the way that like the more poshy English people say it, and I was watching this guy called Gary Eats, and he was saying, "Oh yeah, the hummus," and I'm just like, "Oh
yeah." Because my mum say hummus too, because she's from Northern England. She'd say hummus.
Yeah,
and so,
that's how my dad says it.
It's just hummus. If she say hummus still, like, because my mum's from the UK, she still pronounces things the English way a little bit.
Like, really hard on the who. The hummus.
Yeah, because my mum's from Wolverhampton, Northern England.
You know where Lee G's from?
We've been there for 51 years, but yeah, she still says things this way and this way. And yeah, I love. I still like. I love my mum. I get along with my mother real well. Redhead. She's got red hair as well. That's what I call a redhead.
Because yeah, pasta and pasta, even though when you say it out loud, they're really not that different. They're really not that different, but yeah. One will make an Italian angry, and the other will.
I was 61. A couple of days too. Happy birthday, Mum. Well, with me for 45 years.
Your mum's from like the Yorkshire area, right?
Yeah, Yorkshire County, yeah. That's where Wolverhampton's in, yeah.
Well, Yorkshire, I mean, Yorkshire's the home of Yorkshire pudding, Yorkshire tea.
Yeah.
It's a very cool culture. And
yeah,
cool area. They have some
accents a little bit different too. Because I can faintly remember Mum had a thickish Yorkshire accent. Because I can faintly remember I had this vaguely, because my mum was 16 when she had me, and I can faintly remember Mum had this thick Yorkshire accent, and she used to say things like, there's just to say, ruler. And I can't do the accent how to pronounce it. I can't do the Yorkshire accent without sounding like Welsh. Because if I do the Yorkshire accent once, I said Welsh. Because when I'm hating into it. Mother says, yeah, I was born there, little Rocky boy. They used to call me Rocky boy. With the finger.
Welsh is one of those accents that I'd really need to concentrate to do. Scottish, I just when they're in the burger. Sometimes when he says something, it sounds like the same word for about 5 different words.
Well, with Terminator, after this, remember my grandmother on my dad's side, because she was Scottish, and she had this thick Scottish accent. If I can understand her, being from Isles Guy, I can understand Terminator just as well.
I think one of the funniest things I found with Stephen is when I talk to him in text, he texts how he talks. Like
because
the way he pronounces words, or the certain Scottish style of saying stuff, he actually will spell it out. So when you're reading it, you can read it in his accent.
Yeah, there's sometimes they can speak in a Scottish Gaelic as well, Scottish language is a little bit different to English. It's got Scottish Gaelic a little bit. It's a little bit different to English. But very few Scottish people can speak it though these days. Very, very rare you can come across a Scottish person who can speak it. pretty much dialect in Ireland. Very, very, very rare that people can speak it these days. Which is a bit of
Yeah,
surprise I learnt the other day.
Well, the other day
I
we had the NBN coming out here, so we've got fibre to the premises now instead of fibre so it's bypassed the old copper wire. And the guy who did it was Indian or Pakistani, and he had a very heavy
one of
accent.
those Indian,
And it
and
was a
mine
little
was
bit
Indian
difficult
and
at
the
times
premises
to
here.
understand him, but we got through it.
Yeah, mine who did a pop premises here was Indian as well. For my basis called these days, he was Indian as well. And he had and it says, a favor to the premises? It says, yes, that's me. And I straight away put him, helped him out and point out because where I wanted it out is pretty Pacific where my place is. This is a very my house is like a maze. And I pointed out where it is, and so over there is it. And because before that was fibre to the node, and the node was halfway down the street. So I decided to order to fibre to the premises so we can get a little bit better speeds and stuff through Optus.
So what?
Yeah, it's very spectacular too.
So you got high-speed internet, Roger? Have you obviously, or you got?
Yes I do. That's why I can connect to you and G and a few others pretty quickly when I see messages come up in that. And I can see it in real time rather than a few seconds delay and stuff.
Yeah. So
Before, usually if you
sorry.
let's say let's say 4 or 5 years ago, G says hop, skip, and a jump. I have to wait for about 10 minutes before I can see the message.
Yeah.
But now I can see it real time, almost at real time. If G said hop, skip, and a jump now, I can see it in real time.
What sort of internet speeds are you getting then?
Right about 200 and something megabits a second.
Is that who are you with?
Optus.
Because
I'm with.
The plan I'm on, I just checked it now. We've got 100 megabits down, but up here in the shed, I'm getting like 88, which is still pretty good, and about 18 up. With the house,
speed test now.
The house, it's probably slightly quicker because we're closer. But yeah,
Yeah. I'm 100 and I run a speed test. I'm 145.2 megabits a second for download.
because isn't Optus meant to be the best 5G in Australia at the moment? Or is that just something they say? Or is that just what they say to sell it? But so I've got a S25 Ultra now. I changed from Vodafone to Optus. I'm paying about $20 more than I was paying. But I am getting 100 gigabytes of data, and I mean, internet's great when I'm out and about, but mainly I'll use it when I'm home with the Wi-Fi anyway. But it was crossing my mind. I've been with iNet for a long time now. I've never really had issues, but maybe it's possibly a little bit slower than it could be, maybe. But when I've done live streams, how I've sometimes shared stuff and then it's like laggy and all the rest of it. So I was wondering if I should maybe, considering I'm on Optus now, maybe change the Wi-Fi to Optus. I guess everyone's different, but iNet's always been pretty good with me. And when I was changing over to Optus, it was a little bit of and they had those issues with Optus, the scammers, the hacking, or whatever. That at the end of the day, it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm just looking at those deals. Sorry, G. Roger's not
there.
there.
Yeah, no worries. That's all good.
Optus is definitely offering less for more.
Because I read the internet speed for download is 175.2 megabits per second, and for upload is 22.6 megabits per second for upload to Optus.
Because there was like being asked if this phone, I think it's the 22. I was going to get the 24 last year, or one reason I got the 22 though is it had 500 gig, and then when I got this, it was changing over. It was only, well, I'm on a plan, so really the plan is probably paying off the phone, but technically the plan is paying off the plan as well. You're just locked in that contract for a bit, which I always find a little bit annoying. But yeah, I could have got the 200 and whatever gigabyte, but I've got 500. Is it 512? They are. But yeah, really, I need it for, because I was going to get rid of this old phone, but I feel like once I start doing more filming, at least I can have a second phone to like do different angles or whatever. And see what happens. But
Yeah, no.
also a lot of, I feel like it's good to, well, this is so far kind of my editing one. I did record the new Shamrock Shake one on this and edited on it. But I still got a lot of old videos on here that I need to finish anyway.
How old is your old one, G?
This is the 22, so they go by a year.
Yeah.
So the 25 is because of 2025.
I mean, if you can still do,
Still a nice phone.
Yeah. Can you do 4K on that old phone?
Yeah, you can, but obviously these newer ones are.
I didn't understand that.
Well, apparently you didn't understand it.
I'm credit for my Optus phone. This is like credit. I have to pay monthly credit. This is Optus. I have to pay credit every 28 days for mine.
I mean, most of us have got a, thing in our pocket. It's amazing what these can do, really, honestly. And I have seen other YouTubers suggest that having an older phone as a second camera can be a good thing.
Especially when, sometimes I will do it with this and with the magic of YouTube. Sometimes you never know. Sometimes I will record food before I open it and go, oh, wow. Like I'll already have some certain shots. When I first done Funkin' Hungry, I recorded a little bit differently where I kind of go show the items a little bit more individual. And
YouTuber Funkin' Hungry.
But hey, who's
talking to you about? Funkin' Hungry, and I said they try to put me in the Falcon Hungry, like the burn Falcon. It says who's YouTuber Funkin' Hungry putting on Falcon Hungry instead.
That's the Star Trek version of me, isn't it? The Vulcan Hungry.
Hungry Falcon hunting a Brigadier in midair. That's a bird falcon. That is. Like not as an eagle, but it's a big enough bird.
So our mate with the short name said he wanted to learn Korean one day. There's quite a few apps.
I thought I was one with short name. Just
he might be a little bit behind in the stream.
I wanted to learn Korean one day. We just hadn't. Yeah, when did we talk about Korean?
Well, we were talking about the different accents and things like that probably about 5 minutes ago. So maybe he's a bit behind.
Yeah, because
that was like Kodie when Kodie was like 10 minutes behind and he was laughing and talking about stuff we were long for.
I was just going to suggest that there's quite a few apps out there of, where people, the apps actually teach you how kids learn the language, and you find you pick it up quicker.
Yeah, I want to learn more languages, but I don't know. It's one of those. Sometimes when I hear other languages, it just confuses me to hear it, let alone trying to learn it and talk it.
There's a guy out in New York City, calls himself Shaman, something. I'll find it and send it to you. And he spent 12 months in Beijing, and his wife is Chinese. And he's good to watch because he goes to these places, especially in New York, where there's a lot of different, people from other countries, and he speaks their own language. And the reactions he gets from some of the people around him is almost priceless. And
Might have seen that guy.
yeah, one lady said to him one day, "Oh, you speak better Mandarin than my kids." Just
Yeah, I don't
and
know if it's the same guy. Possibly is, but yeah, he speaks very old dialects. Like it's not just because I guess even their
there's
languages are going to change.
regional
Even their
dialects
language
too.
is going to change over time, like Chinese and Mandarin and stuff. Obviously, with slang and other stuff comes into it, it changes and develops and over time.
Yeah. All
I mean,
languages change
I
over
speak
time.
English, but I can't even do that properly.
Yeah, all languages change over time. If you look at,
Yeah,
let's say, Old English, if you look at Old English, try to speak it, you look like a freaking foreigner. Try to speak it than you do today. You feel like
well, one of our
what?
one of our guys at work, he went on a cruise, and the barman who looked after it made sure that they had their drinks and things like that, because obviously you get looked after, you get more tips. He had this rule after 9 o'clock at night on this particular bar that you could only order your drinks in a certain language, and because obviously you get a lot of people from different nationalities working on the ships and that, and it was just another way of the bartender making it a bit more fun for people. So if you didn't know the language, but quite often, like if you go to Germany, or even I can remember my time back when I was visiting France. In France,
ooh la la.
oh la la, yeah. No, I mean the food van or food thing we're going to, they got to know me because I ordered the same thing all the time. And fries over there were Fritz, and like in
They
German,
are.
if you order a beer, it's BEIR or something over there.
Yeah, it's like beer.
And beer is beer, beer, eins, dice,
Yeah,
It's so in German. Let's say beer is beer, but it's spelled B-E-I-R in
that's
German.
it. Yeah, that's
Beer.
it.
Let's say beer.
Mm.
Let's say,
we've all probably seen him in the chat. Official Gibbo.
Yep.
I knew him from Greg's Kitchen originally before Funkin' Hungry. But yeah, he when he talks about stuff, he always throws in some like curveballs, which I always find funny. So yeah, when he'll say, "Oh, the fries looked good," he'll say like Fritz and stuff. Like he'll change the language to a different language, or he'll put like a bit of a slang in there. So when you read it, it sounds really strange. But if you know what he's talking about, like, because he'll either use a slang word or a different language, but he'll get the point across. But it always makes me laugh how he does comments.
I can say them, German. Hier is voorloten voor de bier, de onvrij, voor funken hanger unbaar. It says, can I order beer for funkin' hungry and ma?
That's well done, Roger.
In German. It is, can
Yeah,
I,
I know.
it is your room the beer, dat hoe voor
I know Dave knows a bit of German as well. He's came on here saying a bit of German before.
I only wrote a file I can speak German between 2 or 3.
Yeah, isn't that his background?
Coming down, brother.
Isn't that his background? Isn't that like where he's from?
Well, he's English, it's German, yeah, because his last name is Wolfman with M-A-N-N, because in German that's called man M-A-N-N, like mum, M-A-N-N, because that's all the 2 N's. That's Robert Hobhart's real last name, but yes. He likes to call himself the real wolf. when he's talking to me, sometimes says, when we're joking around, says, "Trust me, I'm a real wolf." It's like a joke,
I
isn't it?
love, I love
I'm
wolves.
I'm a real wolf. Like as a joke, and that when we joke around, it says, Robert Father says, "Trust me, I'm a wolf."
Isn't that bad to trust the wolf though? Like the Three Little Pigs. Didn't he dress up as a grandma to lure a little girl in a riding hood, a red one?
Well, he's close enough to say, says, "I'm a friendly wolf." He will people say. He likes to joke. If you joke around with him, he joke back. You only can do that with his style. I reckon you bring the best out of Robert Farfar. I reckon Styles he can do it. He would say, "I'm a wolf."
Yeah,
Because when he
Styles
jokes
is really
around,
quiet
it's
tonight.
"Trust me, wolf."
Where's the director? We need the
He's really
director. He
quiet.
said that I was only about 8 minutes ago or something. We could only learn Indonesian in school.
I
What
learned
about you,
Norwegian.
Mark? What language did they have for you when you were at school?
At high school, because I went to a Christian Brothers school in Brisbane, in the city of
Okay,
Brisbane, and
yeah.
there was a lot of Italian kids. I've talked about this
Oh,
before,
wow.
actually. A
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of
You
Italian
probably have.
kids, so they talked Italian, or we had a teacher that would teach us Italian, and I can tell you now, the Italian kids, honestly didn't want to speak their native language, and I can always remember the old Italian teacher was she would. The one thing that really remained with me was spaghetti. You got to say spaghetti. The rest of it, I sort of didn't click onto. But what I wanted to learn, of course, was German. I wanted to learn
Oh,
German.
yeah.
Yeah, Robert Farfar can teach you German if you want. If you want to speak German, because he can speak to a teeth.
Yeah.
When I was
So
when I was in high school, I went to
it's
Cairns
it,
High School
you know
and had a few of these had a few of these had the few had a few African people like from South Africa and also from the Ivory Coast that they call it Cote d'Ivoire, and we had a language teacher who spoke French. In Cote d'Ivoire, Cote d'Ivoire, whatever it is French for from the country of Ivory Coast, and I remember one of the kids says, "I don't want to learn that language, teacher, called French. Can we speak something else?" I just remember the same. Is it can we learn something else like a different European language? It's this kid from the Ivory Coast. It made me laugh when I heard it. I was at the back of the class and I cracked up laughing when this kid said this. Because I was in year 7 at the time, and this kid, can we learn some of the other European language besides French? He's,
because
Yeah,
it's funny
isn't it
how
the
weird
way he said it,
when you swear and you say
it's the way
"pardon
he
my
said it.
French"?
This is in the
That
early
could,
1990s, early 90s and that. And
like, oh fuck, oh
I
pardon
used
my
to be
French.
friends with this kid from the Ivory Coast, I used to be friendly with him. Like I'm talking terms with him, know about his culture and that. And he was in the middle row and I was in the back of the class like I always was. And when something funny, I used to laugh my head off, because I'm quick to laugh. Anything funny, I used to keep myself laughing.
it's
That's
funny.
funny though.
It's
Can we
almost
search
funny.
something else? He said, "Let's say it's not language, it's French."
It's almost funny in Europe how it's so densely populated
Yeah.
that there's so many different languages.
Well, like we was
There's a
discussing
heap of
before
languages in the
about
world
we
today.
were going into English dialect is different, like Liverpoolians and the Manx and all the rest of it. And then like you said, European have different languages, but then imagine that in those languages, I'm sure there's different dialects or different ways that they pronounce
just
or
dialects.
talk or different words that they use that are kind of only for those areas. Like even in England,
there is
I think I
dialects.
put it on Funkin' Hungry, the food page, all the different places in England, what they call a bread roll. You know, there's like about 20 different versions of what they call a bread roll, a cob, a bat, a bread cake, and all this just for a bread roll. I've always known it as a bread roll, even in England and stuff, just a roll or bread roll, but then they all have their own. So it's just crazy how, and I'm sure that would be the same with Europeans and Africans, and nappies is funny in Egyptian. Yeah, they do wear nappies in Egypt, don't they?
I'm sure they do.
Babies.
Because
The babies.
I remember my mum used to call a bread roll a bread cake or tea cake.
Yeah, that must be
Occasionally
more of
used
the
to call it a
Yorkshire.
scuffer. I remember my mum used to call it a bread roll, bread cake or tea cake. But occasionally she used to call it a scuffer, a scuffer or something like that in Yorkshire.
So it's
I used to think, oh, just call it a bread roll. Just
Australia's.
call it a bread roll, man, please.
Yeah, you're like, I can have a
really
bread roll and
English
cheese, and then she'll look at you like, "It's not a bread roll." And then start lecturing you. Like Roger's just like, "I just want to just get me a sandwich."
If,
But yeah, this happens in Australia as
I used to
well.
think,
Obviously, with
please call it a bread roll. What's it in your life? Please. This was a little kid. I used to go,
as well, moving to Australia before the internet and social media was what it is now. Certain stuff in South Australia that I've come to know stuff as it is different as well in different parts of Australia, like Fritz, a bit of the old Fritz. I know Peter, if he's here, his ears would prick up over a bit of Fritz. But
being across Australia, I learned to call different things. I call it Devon roll, Fritz, Rose roll, this, that, and everything. Yeah, I used to call it after a while. So yeah, every time I go different side, I go yeah. Yeah, but I know what you mean, G. Yeah. That's like football. Like Queensland, New South Wales, and ACT were like our leagues. When Western Australia, AFL. Anyone that's like AFL is not Western Australian. Because when I was there from 2 years in primary school when I was in Australia, I thought, God, I'm in for a long haul here. I'm like Sydney Roosters NRL.
well, Vanessa that's been in the chat before. She's known me since I first moved here. She in the first school that I went to, she was in my class. Probably the only person really that I've known since school. There was one guy that came on trolling a few times. I had to
The
block
fruity
him,
guy,
and
the Fruit Loop guy.
then had to block
You know
him.
the guy you call the Fruit Loop?
Yeah,
the other guy you sort of Facebook is a bit of Fruit Loop.
Yeah, he is. He's and it was because I saw him in person, and there was a little bit of an exchange of words. So he came on here, and I've known him since school as well, but not the first year of school.
Yeah, but it's a lot of things, but saying nothing, more or less. It's a lot, but really, in the end of the day, it's nothing.
Yeah, there's
lots of lot, but
lots of stories about that guy.
Nothing really sense.
Unfortunately, sometimes I meet people that aren't the best people, but I try and give them the benefit of the doubt or feel a bit sorry for them. So try and give them a friendship or just be nice to them, and then sometimes you realise why most people didn't like them in the first place. And they're like, "Oh, why don't many people like him? I feel a bit sorry for him. Or why are they picking on him?" And then all of a sudden, you start to realise that you kind of wasted a lot of time and effort with them, and
yeah.
yeah,
The what I meant was he spoke a lot, but what he said didn't make much sense. That's what I mean. Like he spoke a lot, but nothing, makes much sense. Throwing out word salads. Yeah, said a lot, but not much, nothing much makes sense.
yeah.
And then you go, if I tell
Well,
you,
like
really two
I don't know,
takes,
that guy's just done that guy's just done some incredible weird shit over the years. One time I remembered, because we fell out, I haven't probably been friends with him for 10 odd years or more, but then he pops up in different places, a lot of time online or sometimes in
yeah,
person. But I remember one time he pretended he was dying from cancer to speak to me, and just to say about, like, let's try and settle our problems or whatever. And the thing is, he's such a bullshit talker that I kind of just didn't believe it anyway. But yeah, I guess it's that
this
kind of
is
like the boy who cried wolf type situation, where everyone sort of runs to their defense at first, and then it gets to the point when a real situation happens, you're just like, yeah, you just don't even believe it anyway.
that one is Arschloch. Yeah, so that means an a-hole in German. Arschloch is asshole in German.
To
Is
me, Germans sound like they've got too much saliva in their mouth when they're talking.
is one of the closer languages German is. English. German English is one of
One of the
the
closest to English.
English, Dutch, and German is the three closest languages related to closely to each other. English,
Okay,
Dutch, and German. And
yeah.
I thought for a long time German
Dutch
was
and
Dutch
German is a
because
little bit
they used to
similar,
say
right?
I thought that German was Dutch because they used to say Deutsch. And when you look at it in English,
Mm.
you thought it's Dutch. Because when they spell themselves as German and look Deutsch, and it spell the same way as they say from the Netherlands, say let's say Dutch, Deutsch. And then thought a lot of English speaking people thought Germans were Dutch. That's why there's lost Dutch from his mind. They're actually the people from Germany.
Yeah.
Jacob Waltz and Visa, because this is vowel, this is V. V is vowel, V is W. That's a German V and W. That's why I say B and V.
Yeah, that's
Because
why they
W
say.
is out, it's V,
That's why they
V,
say
V, V.
Volkswagen.
And Volts and V's, yeah. Because W is V. Sounds like a V bit. The W is V is very similar.
Because isn't English going to be one of the hardest languages to learn? And I guess it's because
Supposedly.
of maybe it's as well
Now
because
remember,
sometimes we use the same word for about 20 different meanings.
you want to know the German word for ambulance is? Rückrufwagen. That's the German word for ambulance. Rückrufwagen. And
A what
and for
wagon?
hospitals, Krankenhaus. Krankenhaus. That's for hospital. It's
Well,
don't know
the
how
German
to know.
German word for uh, if you say Dampf tractor, that's
Yeah,
steam tractor.
I know.
Yeah.
I knew that. Never please explain it, but
Oh, look out! Look who's in the chat.
Oh no, here he is. And I have the tomfoolery dogs with me. Oh, they're probably calling Kodie a jerk right now, aren't they?
Come on, Kodie, get up here on the stream.
Yeah, get up in here on screen with all your dogs, Kodie.
Had
Hey,
my
Code
dogs on here
Man.
before.
Yeah, that's it.
Kodie's in the house of representatives. Represent.
I've got a dog back here as well.
Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Oh, very nice.
Just been sitting there for a while since my birthday. That my sister got.
Looks looks a little bit like Soul.
Yeah. My name is Winter. It's really soft, man. Got very
The
detailed face. Like
Dalmatian.
the nose looks very much like a dog's as well, even though it's like plasticky. It has that reflective
Mm.
look. Still trying to work on my background here. There's just a lot of stuff that I need to sort out.
Oh, I think you're doing all right there,
But
G.
I
I got to
might
work on my I got to work on my background too.
isn't that just a green screen? That's
Yeah,
what a lot of people said for a while.
yeah, yeah. I got to change it up soon. Doing all right, Cody. Hope you're doing all right, mate.
Kodie in the house. Yeah, not too bad, Kodie. Hopefully you're all right.
Nee, nee, nee. En een tokenwagen. Rosinen. Deze zijn de horenwagen. En de rest is een Parijse dat een fietsen.
I think he's trying to summon some demons back to
I think so.
Koningen. Is de police. Out of the vexel. But his hands in the bag. But the return.
just a couple. Just a couple.
One,
Just a
two,
couple of
three, four,
empty
five.
cans.
Hey, G, I learnt the other day that Paramount, I think it's Paramount, yeah, not doing a third season of Halo.
We had I haven't actually watched the season two, but yeah, maybe another company might pick it up, possibly.
Well, the first season's now on Netflix for people to watch,
Oh,
so they may pick it up, but we don't know.
yeah, there you go.
And in April, we're getting season 2 of Andor, which will be good. I think 2 or 3, one of the two is coming in April.
I've been watching the new Daredevil, so that was a Netflix series,
Mm.
and now it's Disney owns it, but they've used the same characters and actors and the rest of it, so it's a continuation. It is a little bit slow at the moment, but I guess it's because Matt Murdock, who's Daredevil, is a lawyer as well. So they're going in this season so far. He isn't It's not showing the vigilante side really much. It did a little bit at the beginning, but obviously it's not. It needs to show, I guess, the whole character. He can't always be running around doing crazy stuff.
Yeah.
It's what's, I guess, interesting about the character. He's blind. He's a vigilante, Daredevil, but he's also a well-known lawyer. So it has that. It has all of those aspects in it. Also, they did on Netflix. They did Daredevil. They did Punisher. They did Luke Cage. They did Jessica Jones, and then they did the Defenders, which is all of them together besides the Punisher. It's all of the heroes together. They were quite good series. I liked Daredevil the most, but they all had their different vibes. They all had their different abilities or whatever, or origins or stories. But yeah, and now originally because it was on Netflix, they did have Matt Murdock as a lawyer in one of the last Spider-Man film, because now it was Netflix, which means it wasn't technically a part of the same universe. But then when it moved over to Disney, the Defenders or those series, and then it did mention Spider-Man in Daredevil. All it was the Kingpin saying something about people running around dressed as spiders. So it's just like a little tiny nod. But yeah, as a kid, I used to watch different Spider-Man cartoons and stuff, and the Kingpin is quite a big enemy of Spider-Man because he's one of those crime bosses that runs most of the city eventually. Yeah, it's quite a good series if no one has watched it, but obviously you have to be into your superhero type stuff. But it's not just a superhero series. Punisher was quite good actually. Punisher made me tear up a little bit at one scene because Punisher loses all his family quite brutally, and it pushes him to become a vigilante. But he's quite brutal because he has like a lot of military type training, and it's quite like these series, I guess, are kind of R-rated. I feel like Jessica Jones and some of the other ones might have been a bit softer, but Punisher and Daredevil were definitely sort of R-rated when it comes to some of the content. But yeah, it's been a bit slow, but also the way they bring out series sometimes, they bring out like one a week or whatever. So it does feel a bit slow. If I was able to smash it out, it might be a bit. The Penguin as well. If no one's watched that, again, it's another comic book series, but Colin Farrell did an amazing job at Penguin, and he was in. I watched that recently, the Batman with Robert Pattinson again. I liked how it really showed the detective side of Batman. It wasn't just him running around smashing everyone. It had the Riddler in it. And I really liked how Batman worked with Jim Gordon to try to work out the clues. And because one of them, they thought it was Penguin was the rat because it was like, what's a rat without, or what's a rat with wings or something? Because then they were saying, oh, it's a bird or all this stuff. They were trying to work out these riddles and these clues, which was quite a good side of Batman. And Penguin was in that just briefly. And then they did the Penguin series, which didn't have Batman in it, but it's just mainly just the Penguin. But it was bloody entertaining. It was more of a crime drama.
Yeah, I haven't actually got into many series lately. I'm waiting for well, we finished season 4 of Stranger Things, and season 5 is going to be coming out soon, and apparently they're going to wrap things up with that. And, I mainly watch YouTube, and I watch my UFO stuff, as most of you guys know. But as I've mentioned before, I'm really enjoy watching this Aussie guy runs this YouTube channel called Uncharted X, and he does a lot of trips to Egypt, going through the pyramids and doing a lot of research. Like he said, he became obsessed with it, and he's really done some detailed videos of it, and especially not debunking but challenging the mainstream archaeology, saying that it was this way, and they built the pyramids by pulling the stones on logs.
Apparently, a few slaves with a few very basic tools and a bit of rope.
Yeah, and
even though these pyramids outlast buildings that are made more by modern technology.
Yeah, and they're more accurate. They're aligned. They're astronomically aligned, and the accuracy is just it's just
they just use to measure and tape and.
Yeah, it really is absolutely fascinating, and it's like when you listen to how this guy explains it, and he's got other people in to talk about it, guys who have had they're well respected in their industry, and get them to look at it, and they go, yeah, well, this is what it is. This is how, and these stone vases, that are made out of such incredible hard stone, and the accuracy of these things is just phenomenal. You know, it's
Yeah, also limestone's meant to be hard to like actually get into. It's not like
yeah,
just some old rock in your garden.
yeah, it's just fascinating stuff. And I suppose maybe because I'm a bit older now and not young and silly, that this stuff's really interesting. It's really interesting because there's no way, even with our technology, well, I won't say it's impossible, as he explains in some of his videos. It's not impossible to make or reproduce, but to get it to that accuracy is just bloody damned expensive, you know.
Yeah, really.
It's just crazy.
There was something I was going to say before, but then I lost it. I lost the plot.
You lost it.
Where are we? Had the plot, but lost it.
Your plot's lost.
That's it.
Lost of the plot.
But it was a little bit weak, and I don't know, maybe because I grew up with Muppets and Star Wars and other stuff. I'm way more into my practical effects than CGI. Obviously, both are needed, or both can go hand in hand quite well. But Moon Knight was quite interesting. The Marvel character Moon Knight, because
Mm.
he's like
Oh, yeah.
possessed with this Egyptian god,
Oh yeah.
and it goes into some of the Egyptian sort of mythology and Egyptian gods and the rest of it. It's a character that I don't know that well. I've maybe read one comic in my life of it and known the character through maybe appearing in other comics. But the series was quite good. I forget his name, but he's a pretty good actor that plays him as well. He plays Poe Dameron, is it, in Star Wars?
Yeah.
Moon Knight. He's like Isaac something, but I forget his last name. Off the top. It's Oscar Isaac. Probably why I couldn't work out his last name, because the last name is the one that he played. Yeah, Poe, the pilot in the new series of Star Wars. He was the pilot that I thought he was quite a good character actually in the new Star Wars. He was like one of the X-wing fighters in the new
Oh,
series.
okay. Righto.
I don't know if
Yeah, I
it
was
show on
18.
screen.
Right.
Yeah, he was kitted up in the pilot outfit most of the film.
Mm.
I remember there was
Oh
one
yes,
good
yes.
one.
Yeah.
There was one cool scene in maybe the second. Is it the second? But Han Solo and Chewbacca were fighting and Poe comes with other pilots and helps them when they were struggling a bit. You see all these X-wings come in and start bombing all the stormtroopers. Hold my beer, Cody. So, how many drinks have you had tonight, Roger? I saw you moving a few cans before. With a
About
can
4
full.
or 5 at the moment.
What are you drinking?
It's 4 or
Nelson
5 at the
County
moment.
again.
Woodstock.
Oh, Woodstock, bloody hell. That was like my go-to
Woodstock.
when I was like a very wee little boy.
Woodstock. Do you stock wood, or does the Woodstock
So the
stock?
would you stock?
Yeah. Something like
And
that.
two of the 1969 version of Woodstock.
I had that's what I was
But
gonna
not so much the
say.
1999.
I was gonna be a nerd out and say that was when you were talking about Stranger Things. That was gonna be called Montauk Project, and
Yep.
it's based on the Montauk Project, which is
Yep.
something I looked into quite a lot at the time, or before Stranger Things, and then when I realised that's what it's based on, and that's why it's originally was in like a small town, a little bit isolated, not really sort of mainstream, and yeah, there's lots of crazy stuff in the if you look into Montauk. So what 11 happened to 11 was meant to be like what really happened, and it shows a little bit of what happened to 11 in the first season, but then maybe I think it's the fourth season they go back into it a little bit more because they have
Yeah.
that other character that's one of the people that worked in that facility.
Mm.
Yeah, they go into it a lot more, but yeah, apparently they did that, worked with psychics to open portals and worked with psychics to do all this crazy stuff where they're using technology, gifted people, and they're coming together and also I guess the Demigorgon they made a little bit more. They involved D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, in it obviously to have that nerdy element of Dungeons and Dragons, which actually was quite a nice touch. I liked that when the kids first were playing Dungeons and Dragons, and they like. I guess I've never played Dungeons and Dragons, but I appreciate the tabletop and using your imagination as a kid to tell stories. I liked how they had I forget some of the name. Eddie Muntz, is it? Or he later on he was in the Hellfires Club, who was like an adult, and they was running a D&D campaign. That was kind
Mm.
of a cool element. But yeah, the Demigorgon would have been what the Montauk monster was, and apparently
Yep.
they opened up like a portal, and this monster came out of it. Is how apparently it happened in real life, and obviously they've taken those elements and worked with it, and yeah, obviously they've twisted the story and it's become its own using D&D and other elements, and some of those actors are quite iconic and have been in quite a lot of different stuff since Stranger Things. Some of them started kind of on that project, but
Yeah.
like Hopper, oh, his name, the real guy's name slips my mind, but he's been in a few things I've enjoyed actually. Dave Harbour, I think his name is Dave
Yeah.
Harbour, who
Yeah.
plays Hopper.
That's it. Yeah.
He's a really cool, like enjoyable to watch. Obviously Millie Bobby Brown. I actually met her at a Comic-Con shoot when she was just a little kid still.
Mm.
It was kind of interesting meeting her because she was such a young kid. She was so open with her fans, but I remember the people around her was almost quite moody or aggressive. Like if you know, it's like you paid to have photos and interact with her, but they were probably worse than the people around Stan Lee.
Yeah.
Like they were a little bit, maybe it's because of their age or something, but yeah, she's been in a lot of stuff now and is well known, and I've seen recently people giving her shit because she's done stuff to her face, like prosthetics or cosmetics, and people are saying, oh yeah, she looks like she's 40, 50 now and the rest of it, but
I
at the
think.
end of the
Sorry, I think Winona Ryder plays a really good role in it.
oh, have you seen did you ever get into Beetlejuice and see the new one?
No.
Because yeah, I saw the new one. It was maybe it's just I don't watch films like I used to because we've said how much availability of stuff we have these days. But I did used to watch the old Beetlejuice quite a bit, so maybe that's why. But Michael Keaton did a bloody good job at the new Beetlejuice. It was just you wouldn't know who the hell that is, and yeah, Winona Ryder was in that one quite a bit as well. But yeah, she does a great job in Stranger Things as like coming across as like crazy, but you know that she's not crazy. It's like she takes you on the journey of trying to work out what's going on. It's like you know crazy stuff's happening, so you know she's not crazy, but then she's questioning her sanity and stuff, which
Yeah.
plays quite nicely. Plays quite nicely on the screen. But yeah, I do quite like Strange Things actually. Duncan is a very interesting character. He's I feel like the series has done quite well though, because you see the development of each character quite well over time, which is quite nice to see.
I'm sort of glad that because some characters, they tend to sort of go a little bit I don't know, too far, but I think Stranger Things is kept pretty well on track. They haven't gone too far off kilter.
Mm.
That first season really got me hooked, and I suppose being aware of the Montauk project and other things related
No, and
to
it's based
government.
on
Yeah,
reality.
yeah.
That's also why the exorcism and stuff like that used to really intrigue me, because obviously it's based on true events,
Mm,
or other films that are based, and you kind of know, like The Conjuring is kind of interested, and even though you kind of see like what the Hollywood side of it is, or the exaggeration, it's like, I remember when she was being possessed, and it obviously, if you saw someone being possessed in real life, it wouldn't really be much of a physical thing besides someone incontrollable of their body. But they had like this, the entity comes over them and then like spews out all this like black energy, or just this black tar all over the place. So yeah, you kind of know what's exaggerated, or just, yeah, it's all, oh yeah, based on
Winona
true
Ryder
stuff.
is
I guess
also known as a
as a
shoplifter.
shoplifter. Yeah. Well, get your name. She wants to buy. Maybe she was embarrassed to buy a box of tampons. Who knows? So she just, put them down her knickers.
Yeah,
I
it's
think a
funny.
lot of people have gone through bad. I'd say most of us in life have gone through bad patches, either
Yeah.
mentally or physically or whatever. So yeah, I don't. I don't. Out of a lot of people in Hollywood, she comes across as quite a nice person. There's a lot worse out there than her, in my mind.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. Well, yeah, I suppose you could say a lot stranger than what's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Speaking
there's the
of
fridge.
the classic fridge, there you go.
He's gone again. So I guess like anything, these series they either get you in or they don't. There's you know I can probably sit there all day and watch you know episode after episode of a particular show or something like that. But you got to draw the line. You got to get out and do things. I mean, TV and streaming platforms, they're great, but
Mm.
where do you draw the line on how much do you watch?
Yeah, definitely Squid Game will be good as well.
When's
Squid
it due to
Game,
come out?
I reckon about June, or like the middle of the year.
Oh, that quick? Oh, that'll be good.
And they are talking about having American spin-offs and stuff. That possibly speculation, or, but I'm sure of how popular it is. They're not going to, after this story's wrapped up, which really is going to have to be wrapped up in the next season. Obviously, they could continue it in some way,
Mm,
but you're obviously going to lose either the front man, or the main character Jihan. The conclusion. I'm sure they're not going to like just run off into the sunset together and live happily ever after.
no, no.
But
I got a funny feeling the main character, he's going to become like the new bloke that goes
front man,
around. No, not
oh,
maybe not the new front
the
man, but
that recruiter guy.
yeah, I have a feeling that's what they're going to do with his character. I don't know, but I just got a funny feeling that's what's going to happen.
Are you? I was actually gonna say this to you a while ago. Have you seen Train to Busan?
No.
That has the guy who recruits them. I'm not that good with Asian names. Sorry, so I don't know his name, but he did an amazing job of especially in the new season, how they had the first episode more of him. But it's a zombie series or film. Sorry, it was bloody decent though.
There
It
was
was
a
really good. It is Train to Busan. It's a Korean movie. Has the guy who played the recruiter Gong Yu. He well, it was It's you'll have to watch it in subtitles. They may have a dubbed version, but it was really enjoyable actually. And it wasn't just like your typical zombie stuff. How it's just over the top and crazy. It's more about the people and how people react in situations. And sometimes, I guess, kind of like Squid Game, how people are, some people are just out for themselves or just worrying about themselves. So they're kind of being selfish with how they handle the situation. Or sometimes someone might have a kid or someone might have, family with them. So then they're not just looking out for themselves, they're looking out for their family or it was, yeah. Another series that's meant to be good that I haven't watched yet is Alice in Borderland. It's like a Korean series.
Is it called Borderlands?
Alice in Borderland.
I thought there was a series called Borderlands. Maybe
Borderlands is there is a film based on a video game called Borderlands that has like Kevin Hart and stuff in it. The game's actually really good, but yeah, the film was a bit of a letdown. It was just a little bit of a Hollywood trashy. Yeah, this Alice in Borderland, from what I know, is something about a video game, but kind of comes to life. Must compete in a dangerous game in order to survive. Got a few seasons though. It's meant to be pretty good. I've heard that it's pretty good, but yeah, some of these Korean films and series are really enjoyable. And maybe a bit more realistic than a lot of the stuff that comes out of Hollywood.
Yeah. There's on Netflix. There's also a new series of F1 Drive to Survive, and
Okay. Sound like a documentary or
yeah, it goes behind the scenes of the Formula One side of things, and it follows a lot of the drivers and what happens with the teams and things like that. It's quite telling actually. I think they're up to their fifth season now, sixth season, something like that. And the disappointing side of it is that by the time they release it, so they release it just before the F1 season starts. And so I think it's like 10 episodes or something, whatever it is. So you almost got to binge watch it before the season starts. But it really has boosted the numbers of people that go to Formula One. So
no.
yeah, and so Formula One can see the benefit in it, and because it's reaching a new audience. If you don't follow Formula One, I mean, I only started watching Formula One when I first started watching Drive to Survive, and it really got me hooked. And it just, I suppose for me, there was a number of things that it sort of highlighted the technical side of it, what goes on behind, and the amount of money that goes into Formula One. Huge amount of money, like ridiculous amounts of money goes into Formula.
Very huge.
Yeah, and there's
a lot of money thrown around.
Yeah, and there's an Aussie guy on YouTube called Kim Illman, and he's a photographer for Formula One. And I've followed him pretty much since I came across him on YouTube, and he's got a huge following now. And it was his son that said, "Oh, Dad, you gotta," because he originally just started, I think, posting on Instagram, and his son said, "Dad, you got to get on YouTube," and he wasn't interested. And now, oh, he's got a following like you wouldn't believe on YouTube, and he really takes some fantastic photos too. So if you're into that sort of thing, I'd highly recommend F1 Drive to Survive. If not, in some cases, it's not about the racing. It's more what goes on behind the scenes with the people, with the drivers, especially because Formula One, you're at your peak. And if you don't perform, and a lot of these drivers who are driving these cars have various performance criteria in their contracts. They're getting paid a lot of money, but at the same time, if you don't, if things go wrong, if you don't keep up, you're gone. And that has happened time and time again in Formula One.
Well, I know my parents watch all sorts of crazy stuff, but I know they watch a lot of those opal miners and that type of stuff, and they're not necessarily interested in it. But I guess it's the drama and the people. It's not always about just them actually going there and getting the gold or the opal or whatever. It's like the dynamic of how it works and what happens behind the scenes. And I guess it kind of interests you because it opens up your eyes. Sometimes when you go to the shop and you just see like an opal or whatever, you don't realize how much time and effort goes into a lot of this stuff, blood, sweat, and tears, and the rest of it. Just to we can go to the shops and just choose to buy it or not buy it, but so much even me doing food reviews and different stuff, it's just when I got into mindfulness, you can do mindful eating or even like showering, you can be mindful, or even doing the dishes, you can be mindful. So it's like, so it's making your mind stronger, having control over your mind. But mindful eating, when I was looking into it, it's like if you eat a piece of chocolate, it's like imagine like the cocoa bean being taken from where that location and then into a facility that processes that, and then from that facility it moves and eventually it gets to the place that would make the chocolate and put it into the chocolate and the rest of it, and then how that chocolate bar will be made, and then from being made it'll be packaged and then shipped and then to the shop and then to your hand. And it's like sometimes we just, I guess, take life for granted, or take any small little item. I guess even this rubber band that I've been mucking around with, it's like you just go to it's easy for us to go to the shop and just buy it and not really appreciate whatever it is, or unless you have maybe a sentimental value towards the object. But a lot of time you just get stuff, food, whatever. It's even fruit and veg. It's just easy to grab an apple or a piece of fruit, you put it in a salad or whatever. But someone has put a lot of time and effort to grow that food for you. I think it's well like when sometimes grains of rice, like I know some people get a bit triggered if you don't eat. Say if you had a bowl of rice, and some people would just leave 20 grains at the end in the bowl because they can't be bothered to sort of scrape it up. But I do know some people get a little bit triggered of that just because someone's worked really hard to get that rice from where they're living. And some of these countries that do get rice for us or whatever, they might be a little bit poorer, or that might be that they're really struggling just to do that job, just to get it on your table. But then you're not being sort of mindful of, they're probably earning very little just to do that, but they're working their ass off for it. And then it's just showing that appreciation, showing just being mindful, I guess, is what it is. Being mindful of what you're doing. We all get busy. We all go into that autopilot, that fight or flight. But we get into that autopilot. And unfortunately, that's just how we work. We sometimes need to block off everything around us to focus on the task. But it's just being mindful that, and I guess it makes you appreciate life a bit more when you and you start to just appreciate the small little things that come into it.
Certainly do.
Kodie saying, Kev enjoyed watching those minor shows. I like them too. Yeah. No, it probably wouldn't be something I'd watch in my own time, but sometimes it's enjoyable to watch what someone else likes, or just watch, especially if someone's watching it and they might have a few comments, or sometimes when I speak to my mum and she watches all sorts of crazy shows, but she'll sometimes I'll have a chat with her and she'll be telling me about the characters like they're her best mates or whatever, like, oh yeah, this bloke did this and this.
Yeah, you get people like that. You get people like that. They talk about shows and this character
But
in
it's
this shows. Oh, yeah, you can tell this
yeah,
character where they're going about them and that.
and it's just
It's,
like it shows you how how relatable or how people get into these shows to the point where they're tuning in just to kind of almost follow these people's lives, like, oh, what's he doing now? Or especially when it's seasons, maybe the season's ended and then the next season will come in and their lives will be a little bit different or whatever.
a lot of these shows too are a little bit, especially on the Discovery Channel, a little bit over dramatized in a lot of
Yeah,
things.
yeah. Well, I've noticed that.
And working in the earth moving industry, I can tell you that sometimes it's a bit like that, but other times it's not. And
Yeah,
a lot of these shows, the theme is sometimes all the same. Oh, the machine's broken down. We can't get the part. It's 3 hours away and somewhere else, and they can't make money. We got to get gold. This sort of thing, and that gets a bit crazy. But there was one good series to do with that. There was 3 people who'd come together. I think it was on Discovery or something like that. And what they were doing, they were using their experience to go and help people who are, maybe they're just starting out or they're mining and things weren't going right for them. And they'd help them get on the right track and make a world of difference. And it really was enjoyable, And they'd just make small changes and they'd help them out and say, well, and they'd set them little goals sort of thing to say, okay, if you do this, then we'll give you this, or at the end of the show, because you've done so well, here you get to keep this, and that really made a difference to a lot of people.
yeah. And, I know my mum likes this one where it's like long distance relationships. To someone in one that come to mind was some woman in Indonesia and an American bloke, and then she'll go to America and meet, and then I don't know, she struggles there, so then he'll go to Indonesia, but then he can't stay there long because she's not married and there's complications there. And I remember one time as well, he was saying he was going to, I don't know why he couldn't marry her really, but he said he was going to marry her mum just so he could stay there or something. And then he ended up going back to America. And yeah, definitely sometimes the drama, it feels like the drama is definitely pushed or exaggerated, or my mum gets into all sorts of crazy shows. But another one that she was watching for a while was it was like where they do like yachts and party boats. I forget the name of it. But it's like the crew on the yacht and do
It wasn't that Geordie Shores, was it? Or
no, but
down
it was
below, wasn't it? Down below,
deck below, or yeah,
down below, I think, or yeah,
below deck. That's the one.
below deck, yeah.
But and she certain people should, oh, I hate this person, this and this, and then other people should, but yeah, it really gets into it. And it's like stuff that you wouldn't even want, like you wonder why you would be into it. But I guess it's that drama, the suspense, the crazy fireworks that happen, and all the rest of it. And some people really like that stuff where you yourself, Mark, is probably a bit more like me, like you kind of see sometimes that this is probably exaggerated or pushed to be maybe even scripted a little bit, or of course they're only going to show the really crazy stuff where the majority of the time it's probably just quite normal, and then they're just going to show all of the crazy bits and pieces that happen just to make, they need to do a TV show at the end of the day. People enjoy Married at First Sight. It's all drama, pretty much no love to be had. Yeah, that's very true. I'd rather watch those mining type shows than like a Married at First Sight, or those kind of. They definitely, those shows definitely feel like they're scripted. Those ones where they go into a house and there's a bunch of guys, bunch of girls, and they're all having dates and either being potential partners, married, whatever it might be. It's I call Married at First Sight is to have a good shag and first sight, eh? That'd actually be a better show, wouldn't it? Have a shag at first sight.
I just remembered I had the compressor turned on, and I better turn it off, because otherwise I'll leave it turned on, and about 3 o'clock in the morning it'll kick in and build back up to pressure again.
Oh, here we go, Stylesy. Well, I watched 5 minutes of Married at First Sight last Monday. The first time ever, and I think I lost a few brain cells. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Those people are just so materialistic and just like how we talk about having open mind, and we talk about all sorts of subject from silly stuff to quite real or deep stuff. Those people, all they're worried about is what they're wearing, what their face looks like, and who they're going to shag.
Yeah.
What they're going to do to their what they're going to do to their lips, what they're going to do to their nose, what they're going to do to their eyelashes. Because they're very stuck in the matrix.
Especially, we have a little bit there. Guys, let's have the big muscles. Yeah.
That's why sometimes looks don't always matter, because some people that have good looks are just complete morons, really. I was going to try and hold back, but
just at least, G. Because I heard worse in real world than you can say on YouTube.
Oh no! Becky's won a bottle of double black. I think the last thing Becky needs is more alcohol.
Maybe not.
Well, you'd think the universe would try and, help him. But the universe is apparently like, here. He said, I won a box of Carlton Draft at meat voucher, 25 plus 50 pub voucher, and double black.
Everything in moderation, I think.
Well, I think Becky should send me that bottle of double black. Yeah, that's it. Nothing necessarily bad if it's in moderation, but yeah, at the end of the day, I'm just not really protective, but just trying to wish the best for Becky. Sometimes I'm a bit hard on him, but I'm pretty sure he knows. Like, he hasn't told me to shut the fuck up or go back off yet. So, Oh, The Amazing Race isn't too bad. It is a little bit bullshit. I think as it's gone on, it's become a little bit more crazy. But yeah, it's not a bad watch every now and again. I can't really watch those type of shows though consistently. Don't always know. I guess with the internet, you could probably just go to somewhere and watch each episode. But
I used to watch it, but I suppose like everything, it's just a
Loses
repeat
the appeal.
of the same
Loses its
thing.
appeal after a while.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I used to like as well Celebrity Get Me Out of Here. I used to watch more the UK one when it first came to Australia. It wasn't too bad for like, oh, really one season, maybe two. Don't know what they're up to now. Definitely a few seasons in. Because they went from that vet guy, Chris, whatever his name is, to now Irwin, Robert Irwin, which isn't necessarily the problem. It's just, yeah, it becomes just the same. There'd have to be someone really entertaining in there for me to kind of go, okay, maybe I'll watch it, but it's just the same shit, really.
well, Big Brother was the same. It was all,
It was all
Yeah,
all fiddly diddly at first, all like, oh yeah, this person's noshing off with this person, this person, this person's shagging this person. Now it's like a bloody game show. Now they'd have to do all these, now they have to compete for stuff. I don't want to see people running
I
around doing
remember.
like child. I'll just watch Squid Game if I wanted to do that.
well,
I remember I was reading once, Big Brother UK once. Most of the contestants going all in brawl, and half of the contestants got booted out because of the all in brawl on the first night, and couldn't eliminate anyone until about halfway through the Big Brother series because half contestants were meant were in the brawl, and they all got eliminated to the Big Brother UK. Because when we were reading about it, I was thinking, holy moly, fucking moly. I read it in multiple sources, and I thought to myself, fuck me. Talk about
Had to put
how
had to put Roger's
I thought
comment on
the
the
soccer
screen.
matches are bad. This is worse.
Well,
And I
Mr.
thought,
Wizard, Mr. Wizard. Unfortunately, in life, yeah, sometimes I don't know, sometimes everyone goes through stuff. Your friend might have, I think when it comes to stuff like friendship, you have to just realize that they might have been having a bad day, even if they make you feel bad. Sometimes you just have to, I find sometimes you just have to push away your feelings or try not to be sensitive and maybe just talk to the person about it. And I feel like sometimes when you said wasn't really interacting with you, like maybe ask instead of just feeling bad, maybe ask why. Is probably my best advice in that situation. Just maybe, because I know when stuff like that happens, we can pull away and isolate and feel a bit shit about the situation. But maybe just say, oh, next time you see him, just say, oh, what was up with the other day? You were, acting a bit strange towards me or whatever, and then they most likely will open up and tell you. Maybe they was having a bad day, or maybe they didn't even realize they were treating you that way. And my mood has not been good on Thursday. I only watched Big Brother season 6 because of the hot crystal. Oh, was that season 6? I'm pretty sure I remember her. She was in what was that magazine that they had going around in Australia for a while? Charles, you'll probably know. What's that magazine that wasn't a porn mag, but it was had red text and it was a white cover normally.
not people,
I can see the thing, but I can't remember the name.
Was it people
No, it
or Post?
wasn't people.
Is it the
Stars, you might know what I mean.
Is it called the Bum? Oh, FHM magazine. For him magazine.
FHM? No, it was something beginning with S.
There's two of them. Yeah, there's two of them. And FHM is for him magazine for males, and for her magazine for females.
Zoom magazine.
He called it as a him. Him, yeah.
Zoom.
Yes.
Zoom magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a soft. It was kind of like a soft magazine, more for
it's a soft form.
more for sort of kids, I guess. Even though it was quite raunchy in itself.
Mostly for like teenagers, early adults. Because there's
she was on a lot of those magazines.
Yeah, I remember that because about 5 half of this is like sneaking out, grab one or two of them, pretend to be 18 and take them home. Thanks, Robbo. You do
Well,
a
it's
lot of
looking a bit
things.
different these days. I don't know about this was in 2020, so it's 5 years ago. But I guess that's the thing as well. A lot of these women are very attractive, but then they have photoshopping, makeup, and whatever cosmetics work done. And yeah, anyone when they're just wearing a jogging like a jacket and a pair of jogging pants or whatever, they're not going to look much different from the next person.
Exactly.
Well, Ralph magazine was another one. I don't even know if these magazines are still around. I just
Oh,
don't really
yeah,
look for them.
I remember them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
only just triggered a bit of a memory because Stylesy mentioned her, and I'm like, yeah, she pretty much was one of the reasons to watch that show.
Yeah, because when I said Chris and her mother, I was thinking Syphilis mum. Milk, milk, milk. Back in 1999, I thought, geez, I was 19 years old. And so I watched
Well, that's
the first one the other day. I thought, this is nostalgic. This is nostalgic. You know, I laugh at some of the funny bits. I used to laugh when I was 19 all over again. I thought,
Milk,
fuck, I
Milk.
felt 19 all over again. You know,
Stifler's mum,
I
hey?
can't help but laugh.
That was the magazine, Ralph magazine. Yeah, I think Stylesy brings up a
I
good
couldn't
point
help
though. It's like,
myself.
oh, do you watch Big Brother? Yeah, yeah, it's awesome. And then the new season comes on without the attractive girl that you haven't been realizing. It's like the main reason you watch the show, and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, the show actually. Yeah, that's when you realize, I was obviously just, taken over by the eye candy. Apparently, Becky's fishing adventures. I might have let the fish out of the bag, but I won a box of beer plus a double black Johnny and 25 meat voucher and 50 pub voucher. But we cheated with Google. Was it like, I guess, a trivia type situation? Oh, Becky, I reckon you have to send me that bottle of double black just to help you drink it. Crystal and her mother were on the cover a few times. We all have crushes style thing. And we paid 50 each for 4 drinks. I drank too many before and got some wedges. I don't know why I found that so funny, but just was so random. Drank too many before and got some wedges.
Drink
Oh,
too many.
sounds like,
Well,
oh, guess those wedges are going to do their job. You don't need it, funkin' hungry. Oh, I was just trying to help old mate Becky out. It's like the universe wants him to have more alcohol. There was a quiz and my mate said a bottle for us. I said, I'm about to go fishing. Bloody hell, Becky's having a right old adventure. You should bloody vlog your stuff, Becky. It'd be funny to go from drinking to getting a bottle, some mates, and oh yeah, it is almost 11. He said he was going to go. I remember Ralph Magazine Stylesy, aka Robo5 Life, Facebook Robo5 Lifestylesy about his Ralph Magazine adventures. Oh, have to get him on to interview him one day.
That's when he's a teenager. He used to read a lot. He used to sit back and he used to, when they were rating, since he looked a bit like 18, he used to get away with it, grabbing one. Here you go. He used to borrow his cousin's freaking driver's license because they look very similar, but
Yeah.
his
Hell
cousin
yeah,
was
Stylesy.
about 2 years older than Robert Pop. I think he used to get his driver's license because he looked identical, but only his cousin is 2 years older than him. He's introduced his license. He used to get away because he was 18, he was 16. But, oh, he gets there. I'm talking about told me about it the other day. He used to get away with it because he used to borrow his cousin's car license and needs to produce this ID. There's a new, there's in Queensland very strict ID laws goes. And you listen to, here you go, sir, and I've got my ID.
Yes, as
Yes,
well. Welcome, Mr. Charanator.
You have to ask him about it
Yes.
one day.
He's woken up.
He's probably getting ready to get, what's he get these days? Burger. Bloody egg roll. I think he's always confused with Joanne when he says what he's eating. Joanne's always. I think when he said egg roll, Joanne thought, you know how like Americans call like egg rolls like what you get from the Chinese place? You get those. Oh, I forget what they call them in Australia, but yeah, it's like a roll in rice paper.
Yeah,
I'm
I
on
know
deck.
what you mean.
Yeah, an egg roll, like a not a spring roll, but whatever they call them. Basically, you can borrow of your coconut milk, ready for all day breakfast.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, I have it over in the UK an all-day breakfast. Because I watch a few YouTubers and sometimes they talk about their all-day breakfast and stuff. One of them calls Calm's Corner. He does various vlogs and various
I know what he is.
from Calm's Corner from the UK, from the Isle of Wight. And he sometimes says all-day breakfast and Mackie D's, which is a British slang term for McDonald's and stuff. He does various vlogs, challenges, various other things called Callum's Corner. In that, his real name Callum Adams, but he said that once his real name is Callum Adams, and also he got a second channel called Callum Does the Internet. That's his second channel. And he does various things on his two channels. Various things like challenges. He does vlogs and various other things on his two channels and that. That's how I picked up that they call McDonald's Mackie D's. My mother also said, "Oh, Mackie D's."
Yeah, I reckon I need to do
That's
a
not.
hobby video sometime. Try and get that channel over the 1,000 mark. It's
And when
979, and it's pretty much
that's what
yeah.
I picked up for. That's what I picked up what they call. We call rock spiders in Australia. They're called nonces in UK.
Mm-hmm.
In Europe, they're called nonces. In Australia, we call them rock spiders. And they're not really popular in prisons, I'll tell you that.
Where did this conversation
I
come
have a
from?
friendly little list called the bottom of the list where them, informants, and also police officers and judges are the bottom of the list is in prison.
Yeah, I said
Because
I
the
said
strong criminal element.
in the Shamrock State video, I called Ronald McDonald a kitty fiddler. I don't know where that come from, but yeah, normally I don't use that word, but like that way of saying it, that it just popped in my head and just went with it. And that's another one for nonce.
Because you were thinking of Diddy.
Yeah, probably diddler, the fiddler, the kiddie fiddler. Yeah, Charanator's already had his egg rolls and a bottle of Lucasade. That bloke he don't play around. He gets right into it. Mm. Remember the Charanator, another day where you are a winner. Yeah, the chat was on fire before, and then I don't know what happened. It just came to a standstill after Charinator mentioned his egg rolls.
Yeah. Maybe
Maybe it
that's
was
a sign.
Becky.
Maybe it's a sign to wrap it up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up, wrap it in.
Maybe
Let
not.
us
No.
begin.
It's only 11:34 in the evening for me, and it's 10:34 for Mark, and we're after 11 o'clock for this man
But
here.
what you're
He's
gonna
honest
do
with
as well,
you.
they gotta come back for more. You can't give them too much, otherwise they'll get bored. You want them to go, oh, keep going, and then we'll say, no, you have to wait till next time to catch the rest.
That's it.
It's like a a season for an episode. This episode's over. Speaking of that, remember Charinator. Lucas Aid is an energy drink. Kind of. It's not like the energy drinks you get these days. In UK, you obviously Charinator, being in Scotland, would know, but we used to get it a lot, like when we were sick as kids. I guess it's got it's not just water; it has more vitamins and bits added to it too. So instead of just sipping in the water, but yeah, not as popular here. You still get it in Australia, but yeah.
No.
But Sharon should be having, what is that? Bloody iron brew.
No, is Charinator in Scotland, is he? I don't think he's ever mentioned that before.
Yeah.
It's a certain country where they wear kilts.
What's it, Leegee? That's in Scotland. I was confused to tell you that. I reckon Sharonade's in London, isn't he?
No,
I didn't even see Roger typing that.
It's a land of kilts, and the myth goes that we're nothing under there for kilts.
I reckon Roger's a superhero. He's talking, he's moving his arms, he's typing as well. Don't know what's happening. It helps to replenish when you're dehydrated. So I guess it's I can't come up with words at the moment.
Stylesy reckons
I was going to say
Scotland is a great country.
I was going to say probiotics, but no, that's not the word I'm looking for.
Remember, when I go into a pub, it gets me into fights because half of me wants to get pissed, but the Scottish side of me, but the other side of me, where it's kilts, doesn't want to pay for it. It gets me into fights.
That's like on my the Shamrock Shake video. I said, "Oh yeah, I'm part Irish. I don't know what part though, but part of me is apparently."
I mean, half of me wants to get pissed, but this kilt wearing inside of me doesn't want to pay for it.
My mum's side is Irish. Well, we're about to wrap it up, but apparently this person wants to join in, so we'll have to be. You have to give us a quickie, Charinator, because.
Good try, yes, Banners. It's not going to work.
Okay, do you want to wrap up the show for us, Steve?
So you guys, don't forget to, if you have not subscribed to Roger's channel, go and subscribe, give him a like, a thumbs up, hit that bell, ding dong, the notifications. Send me the bold fucking hungry.
Yeah.
Right? Do the same, hit the bell, the notification bell. The bold gene Mark, the bold gene. Hi. So also the same thing, and myself do the same. And everybody else who is watching their channels, please make sure go and watch their channels, subscribe to them, support the channels as much as you can, because it does help all us as a YouTube community to grow.
Another day wing piece there, Terminator.
How was my break? It was good.
You've gone well a effort, Terminator. Because today you win. You know why I say you win? You're alive. Is anyone who did damage to you years ago Terminator, it's losing. Because you're living equals a win.
Roger, end of the day,
Win for
mate.
you.
I'm still here. I'm a fighter. I've got to heart your line. So
Yeah, the Scottish are always known as
that's right.
tough people. They're
Is that-
tough as they come. Because you forget, I've got Scottish blood in me too, Terminator.
Is
And
that
I know
right?
Scottish people are mighty warriors. If they can hold the English out and the Romans out, they can hold anybody out, Terminator.
Is that Roger? That's thing, mate. It's the end of the day. But if we all support each other,
Yeah.
it makes us a lot better to get our channels out there. Especially when that Jesus saying he's moisturiser and nuns crumpet.
No.
Yeah, and I'd imagine.
And as you were saying,
I would
Gee.
imagine a nun wouldn't put much butter on a crumpet.
As you were saying about the Lucozade, yeah, it is an energy drink, right? But it also helps to replenish it when you're being dehydrated, when you're ill with the flu or the cold, or when you're really not well. It helps to replenish all the stuff that you've lost from going.
It's an English drink, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a UK drink. I get it, wouldn't you?
Can the English make it, or
I agree with him because it's in England. We don't see it in Australia.
No, mate.
Gee.
No.
Yeah, there's too much to say. You don't see it.
You want to know when it's made?
where?
Dublin. It's made in
Who?
Dublin.
Scotland?
No, Dublin.
You're a Dublin.
No, see, Ireland.
Ireland.
Look, it's made in Ireland.
Ireland isn't British, is it?
It's part of
Northern
UK.
Ireland is.
Apparently by a Japanese company.
And don't worry, Joanne, don't worry if you're in, honey. He's not going to try and get me to say a certain place, which is not going to work.
What?
I am wiser than you think.
Why don't you call me honey?
You think it's wise?
Roger, what are you pissing yourself up?
Why aren't I your honey?
Because I don't swing that way. Gee. I don't swing that way.
Swing what way? You can still call me honey. Doesn't mean you have to sample my penis. Just because you're calling me honey.
You want to know?
Roger's about to take a heart
Hello,
attack.
AJ.
I think
Don't
Roger's
stop,
about to take a
Buckley.
heart attack.
He
Roger's
thinks
having a
you're
laugh.
crazy.
Roger's having a fit of laughter.
He thinks
Yeah,
you're
just 'cause you
crazy.
Just because you call me honey doesn't mean you have to give me a lap dance. Shit.
No, I said Joanne, honey. Joanne.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
why I said, "Where's my honey?"
Or you can have your honey in your tea.
Honey, honey. Da, 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 da.
Sugar.
Stephen Nader.
Oh,
Oh, my Cheronator. Da, da, da.
gee. Go take a fight.
Cheronator. Da, da, da. Stiffy. Whoop.
Yeah, gee, so yeah, Lucozade is made in Ireland, in Dublin.
What's the weather like today, Cherinator?
Sunny. Actual sunny.
Oh my God.
No, that's Mark, not Sonny. Actually, it says that here.
Must I ask?
It
Right,
originated in Newcastle, UK. I know that
No, must I
I know
ask
that
you-
you hate. I know that you hate to admit that you love English stuff, but you seem to have. Where are the eggs you got from,
Must I ask, right?
Stephen?
Lucozade Energy and the ARC device are registered trademark of Lucozade Ribena Century Limited. Lucozade Ribena Century Limited, EU, LRS, Ireland, Chasing Balding, Hemi, Hall Road, Dublin.
The sparkling glucose drink refreshes and sustains. It was said originated in Newcastle, UK in 1927. Invented by a
Newcastle.
chemist, William Owen, as a glucose-based
It's
drink for people
Like,
recovering from illness.
When you're not well, you're losing your glucose, so it's to replenish it.
Yeah, so it's just some sugary bullshit at the end of the day.
Stop your whining, will you?
Yeah, it's just some
Which
sugary
Newcastle,
bullshit. I'm not saying.
There's two Newcastles. There's Newcastle upon Tyne and Newcastle under Lyme.
Yeah,
Actually,
there's Newcastle in Australia, right?
Roger, actually, see the
Newcastle
Newcastle
Australia, but there's two in UK. Newcastle upon Tyne and Newcastle under Lyme.
Ireland as well isn't classified as UK. Only Welsh, Scottish, and England is.
Yeah, but there's two Newcastle UK, Newcastle upon Tyne, and Newcastle under Lyme.
But Roger, see what I'm saying to you?
I've got some Irish snacks right there.
One time in Newcastle under Lyme. It's just it comes under Newcastle. It's Newcastle, mate.
What about Oldcastle?
In the UK?
I should know. I've got family that stayed in Newcastle.
I know. My mother's from Wolverhampton, and I know where.
Yeah, guys. So what? I thought I'd pop in because I heard that he's a British. What up, Kodie? How you doing, brother?
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do, guys? I'm going to love yous and leavies, and I'll just give you a wee bit of tyranny of wisdom.
Oh my!
All right, cheers for that, darling.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Let me see what wisdom I can give you today.
You gotta tell us anything here.
So, right. So, see when people take the Michael out of you, the mic. Don't let them.
Yeah.
Stand up to them and go, listen, I appreciate you trying to have a wee gesture with me, but please don't do that. And if they don't like it, then then you can tell them where to go. Because
you have to.
Exactly.
Especially if you're a GPS, you have to tell them where to go.
You talk about scammers. You have to send us scammers and that.
Yeah. So that's my wee bit of wisdom for this week.
Tune in next week for more Terminators wisdom.
Yeah, tune in next week when I come up with some random bullshit.
I know.
Love it.
Do you think I watch Pete Logan from US and Jim Brady from Ireland to know that scammers?
See some of the stuff that I've been saying. That's not me literally making it up. That's me actually saying what it's gonna straight in my head.
I know.
When I put my drink bottle here, it looks like a lighter with the ice cream behind it.
So I'm going to leave you guys, and I will see you all next week. All right?
We're going to love you and leave you all, and we're going to see you next week as well.
Right?
Yeah.
Remember, guys, go and support G. And
remember, if you want to see these guys' channels, please go look at their channels. Give them a tiggle, likey, subby. Mark Shed Talk, Roger the Pirate. We do have Kodie the Aussie Brony down here, Charinator. They're all in the description box below. So please, if you like this live stream, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And we'll see you next time. Bye.